Our brains always go to how we can hate on people instead of how we can learn. Like if you got that need to feel like you need to hate on somebody, that's signaling that you need to take your pencil and your pad and learn something from them. Because oftentimes they are doing something that you don't see, and that's the reason why they're successful.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? What it is, what it ain't, what it could be, what it should be, what it will be. Cam Newton, the son, Mr. Boogity All. Here with another episode of Funky Friday, and I promise, people, I really do promise. Give good content for the masses, but most of all, I promise to keep it funky for you. Now, my next guest is an author, motivational speaker, a poet. But one thing that isn't on this tagline that I will add is a vibe curator. Hey, he puts people on for other people to be like, oh. And if you see this content or see his content, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. His mama called him Tony Knowles, but everybody else call him Ace Metaphor. So I present to some and introduce to others. Mr. Ace Metaphor.
That was a good intro. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? So happy to be here and all the good people. Thank you so much for putting all this together. This is nice.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can go to my first question, but you were talking about before the cameras got to rolling.
Yeah.
Is you always are curious to see people's setup.
Yeah. That's where my brain goes to initially, is always learning, being a student of this. And this is how it started. Like, I remember starting as a poet in 2013, and I was doing my own local events in Dayton, Ohio. I'm talking about, 100 people came. I thought I lost my cool. 100 people came to see me, paid $15. And then I remember going to, I got invited to another poet's event. He was a traveling poet. So he had enough clout to get people in different cities to come watch poetry. And at the time, that's such a niche thing, when people doing the poetry. And so I remember going there, and I remember, I ain't gonna say who I was with, but I remember a lot of the poets I was with was like, man, how he get all these people here? Like, blah, 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 blah. You end up thinking about, man, he ain't even that good, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But my mind went to, no, but how did he get all these people here? Mm-hmm. How did he get people from a random city that don't know him personally to show up 150 deep to pay $25 to get here? Mm-hmm. And our brains always go to how we can hate on people instead of how we can learn. Like if you got that need to feel like you need to hate on somebody, that's signaling that you need to take your pencil and your pad and learn something from them. Mm. Because oftentimes they are doing something that you don't see, and that's the reason why they're successful. There's people that's gonna look at this podcast and gonna say it's just because he was an ex-NFL player. No, I see you working so much just from a fan from far away. I see all the shows you have. I see you on ESPN, you putting that work in. But that's why when I came here, I said, let me see how he putting that work in, because I know it's something behind the scenes that people don't see. So my brain has always went there, and I think that's part of why I've gotten my little slice, is because I can look at other people, not have a hater mentality, but how can I learn and how can I apply something that they're doing correctly to what I need to be doing?
Right. Mm-hmm. A lot of times in this body of work, I will always revert back to, I owe a service to not just the viewers, but also to my own curiosity. Mm-hmm. Just to know, right? Mm-hmm. Like know with the K, not know with the N.
Yeah.
You dig? Because there's no doubt about it, you've impacted the culture in your own right. And I'm like, man, who are these people talking about relationships?
Yeah.
And all this and that. And we're going to get to, tonight's conversation. But it's just like, yo, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm a businessman. Yeah. So therefore, I look at honestly speaking, how does a normal guy get at, what's the most people in attendance?
We did 9,000 people in New York. 10,000
people. Mm-hmm. Just off of a situation of saying, hey, come out to this. Hey, come get inspired. And it's such an inclusive type of thing.
Yeah.
And me knowing my people, we don't do that.
Yeah.
If it ain't got Jordan affiliated with it, if it ain't got food affiliated with it, if it doesn't have fashion or certain things, it's like, yo, like this is a dope event without the push of an artist.
Yep.
And that's what's so niche about it. It's like, yo, like this dude is doing something and he's disrupting the space in a way that is dope because the content does numbers, but not only that, it's like you've been able to package it where you could take it to city to city.
City to city.
But before all that, Ace, talk to me about where even you come from.
Man, I come from Dayton, Ohio. Shout out to Dayton, Ohio. It's a really blue collar city, hard working city. It ain't about cloud. It's about, making sure you got enough money to keep your lights on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My mother was a single mother. She raised me and my brother by our damn self, worked doubles every day just to make sure that we can go without. So, man, she's instilled in me the value of hard work. You know what I'm saying? And if I wanted something, I had to go get it. Like I ain't get the allowance. I got a lawnmower so that I can make the money in order to get the shoes or to get the trip or whatever the case may be. So that's where I come from, man. Just a small city. And up until a couple months ago, that's where I've lived my whole life and was able to really get this operation off the ground in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah.
So a little bit about me, man, it's just, I'm focused on just being an overall entertainer. When I was 7, 8 years old, I was doing talent shows. People can look it up on YouTube, and I was winning them mother freakers.
Bro, rock and roll.
Yeah, I was winning them motherfuckers. I'm doing the whole shit. So like, now I think about my life now is just like, I am the same person I was at 8, 9, 10. Like I am that person that wanted to entertain people for a living.
Yeah.
I am that person that had somewhat of the the gab, and I was always talkative. I got in trouble for talking so much in class, but now I get paid to talk so much on stage. Yeah. And then just the culture, man. I grew up being a poet, so being able to put words together. I started as a poetry promoter, and then that graduated to what you see today.
So, a poet. Is that self-proclaimed? Did you go to school? Like what?
Nah, I was just dope. So like, Dayton has a big poetry scene, and it's spoken word poetry. So you get up there, you got 3 minutes to impress somebody. You get what I'm saying? Then if you're really good, they might give you 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So basically just writing stories. Like what people see from me now when I do my little videos or whatever, I call it like free form poetry. Like I'm not even thinking about making it make sense as far as a rhyme, but telling a story on an Instagram clip in 60 seconds to 90 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Just impromptu. They engage people, bring them in, spoken word. The spoken word is the art. So people would come watch us speak words. Now, obviously it was rehearsed and super, super dope, but I love book poets, but we was from the streets. Like it's like hip hop, you know what I mean? Without the beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't go to school?
I went to school, I became a nurse.
What?
Hit that subscribe button. Back to the show.
I was a nurse, yeah, I was an RN. So for 10 years of my life, the first 10 years of my adult life, I was a registered nurse and I worked at the hospital. I worked on a critical care unit. So meaning that when you went from ICU, the next floor down, that's where I worked at. And then I would float to ICU at times. So that gave me a really great perspective on life, right? A really great perspective on following your dreams and living them out and what's really important, right? Because you see people not just at their lowest, but you see people when they find hope again.
Yeah.
And so like being in that middle ground, being able to help and see and being in a servant position, because that's important, like serving people in that aspect. So that's what I did. I went to school for that. But in the meanwhile of me working as a nurse, I was working on my dreams as well. So I love that job because I only had to work 3 days a week. So the other 4, I was busting my ass to make sure my dreams came true as well.
I saw a statistic that did a analysis of careers, and doctors and nurses lead that community of people who cheat on their partner the most.
Oh no, for sure. Flight attendants too, for sure. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. When I was a nurse, I was single at the time, slanging.
What?
Whole hospital. That's why sometimes, you got like cheaters karma. Right? It's not that I was the cheater, but I was with people that was cheating. So now when I get in relationships, it's kind of hard for me to think that people gonna be faithful because people would never know. The slickest thing I've ever been a part of, and I don't do that no more. I'm a former hoe. I'm not a current hoe no more. I'm not a hoe no more. But back in the day, this how slick women are. You know when they be like, men cheat more than women? That's debatable. We get caught more than women do.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the statistics, but I imagine women. The reason why, this one woman that I was kicking it with at the hospital, she had a...
Like when you say kicking, you talking about knocking boots.
Kicking it with. Yeah. She was so slick, she sent me the grocery list of what she needed because she was gonna tell her man she was going to the store. So she had about a good 40 minutes of being at the store. So she gave me the grocery list so I can get what's needed at the store. She came to my crib instead of the store, and she got the 40 minutes. She paid for the groceries though. I'm gonna need that grocery money. I'm gonna need that grocery more. I'm gonna need that grocery money. So I got the grocery money, but that's why, like, yeah, that's true. That's true about the hospital. That's true. Unequivocally true. And there was an apartment complex or building that all the nurses and all the doctors all stayed in. You get what I'm saying? So it was one of them times, bro. Yeah, okay. One of them times. I don't do that no more.
Unequivocally true. I can't speak about the profession, but what I can do is speak about my truth. Yeah. Okay, and my truth is you do not know what a woman is capable of until you're the person that she's cheating on you for.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
You do not know what a woman is capable of until she has a situation, but she's still cheating on you for. Did I say that right? Like, if you're the person that she's cheating on you with.
Yeah.
So she can play a game of, hello, what's up, babe? And you're there witnessing what she's doing.
Yeah.
And keeping it player, do you say anything? Hey, bro, she up. Like, no, you play your role.
Cam, I done had, it's Freaky Friday.
Funky.
Sorry. Funky Friday. It's Funky Friday. I done had situations where that call took place in situations where that call shouldn't have taken place.
I'm not following.
Hey, babe. Cam, it's that bad, bruh. It's that bad out here. It's that bad, Cam. I ain't lying to you.
Disrespect.
I ain't lying. And listen, that's why I said I got cheaters karma, man, because now I feel like I'm paying the price for some of that. Because I think as a man, I feel like we need to have a better respect for each other in situations. Because hear me out. A lot of times, we not going to our men man to man. You know, old girl gonna go to her girl, woman to woman. But we don't say shit. We let the play happen. And here's the thing. We will even give great relationship advice. We get done delivering dick, and then we be like, man, y'all gonna work that shit out. You slanging right here. Y'all gonna work that out, man.
Discharge coming.
Yeah, you like, man, he a good dude. You should work that out.
Hey, you'll pass me a hot towel real quick. Matter of fact, can you make me a sandwich?
So we gotta be a little bit better. We gotta be better because ultimately, you know what I mean, the same way you were present for that person disrespecting her household is the same way another man's gonna be present for the mother of your child or the wife that you have disrespecting your household.
Let me tell you something, Ace, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. That ain't gonna change.
Nope.
That right there is what we call a double standard.
Yeah.
Because girls and women alike can collab to catch a man up.
Yep.
Dudes, guys, and pals amongst it, we'll never collaborate to be like, yo, bro, man, I saw blah, blah, blah. It's like, bruh.
But that's because we don't have the same value within our bodies that we should. Now, hear me out. This is me talking as a 36-year-old man now, right? Hear me out. I know you about to roll your eyes. What I'm saying is,
I'm just trying to understand and compartmentalize what you're saying.
What I'm saying is because we don't assign the same value to our own bodies, right? We don't assign the same value to the sexual exchange of energies and what trauma we are introducing in our lives through that exchange of energy. How many men have lost their lives simply because they didn't value the exchange of energy that was about to happen with that woman. Not only are you having sex with her body, but you're having sex with the problem she got. You're having sex with that angry boyfriend that if he found out, he gonna come see you. How many men have lost their lives pillow talking after exchanging energy? At some point, we gotta value ourselves a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying that I'm gonna chastise men that ain't at that place yet, because I was there. When you young, you reckless, you ain't really thinking about it. How many of us men have been tied into a woman for 18 years, 20 years, and 25 years of our lives now because we didn't value our own body and our presence the way we should have? So at some point we need to do that. And here's the thing, it ain't even that you worried about that woman defiling her home. It's like, I know what I'm willing to do for somebody that I care about. What if that man willing to do the same thing? And now here I am engaging with this woman over a nut, and then now he found out now he want to come see me and destroy what I got. So like at some point I think we do need to be a little bit better. Now, is it unrealistic to expect that? Yeah.
So why even mention it if it's unrealistic?
Because somebody gonna hear it and be like, you know what? Shit, maybe I do need to be a little bit better. And what I mean by that is, there are men right now who, because they didn't value their bodies, like I mentioned those things before, that baby mama issue you got, that you complaining about, she taking you through child court, not you in general, but that person that's doing this, that, and the other, now you're dealing with the consequences of that not valuing your energy and your body the way you needed to. Here's the thing, I'm not ever telling men not to have sex. I ain't saying wait till marriage. I'm just saying make sure that is a quality person that if something was to happen, you don't mind this person being introduced in your life. Or you don't mind that energy and that aura being something that you got in your, because I'm a person that's telling you, pillow talk done fucked me up before. It really did. You know what I'm saying? You get all, Samson in the Bible, is that his name?
Yes, Samson.
And Delilah. That's what got it.
That's what got it.
You get a woman to get you in your vulnerable position.
Yeah.
It might not even be she got a boyfriend or whatever the case may be. It might be you just had an intimate exchange with this woman. So now you more open than you would normally be. And now you just talking. She listening. Then she go repeat that shit. So I'm just saying there's some men that'll listen. And hopefully they do, because that shit be dangerous out here.
For sure. And I'm the person that's listening and already knowing you could have kept 80% of what you talking about, because there ain't no better exchange than conquering a soul, the goods that belong to somebody else.
Belong to a quality woman, yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah, let's put that in there. If there is a feeling of conquering someone that is a quality woman that has your best interest in mind, that will keep you safe. If you put that in there, I agree.
Yeah, but also understanding quality woman outside of just quality, but also monetarily successful, stable, financially able to do what she needs to do for herself, right? What's the song? When a woman's fed up.
Yeah.
You got guys like me that will slide in and then be like, you know what?
I don't know if that's a song, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was the remix. And then in my life,
Yeah.
all my life,
Yeah.
I've been a sleazy guy. So I don't got a problem with sliding when I see an opportunity.
Can we make a deal then? For all the men that feel that way, then don't complain afterwards. That's it. That's it.
That's the game.
No. If you live that life, cool.
Yeah.
Don't complain. I don't want to hear nothing about your baby mama tripping.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing about, man, she make me go into, I don't want to hear nothing about that.
Yeah.
So if you signing up for that, just sign up for it.
Yeah, but that's the game. That's what comes with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's pros and cons. It's what's the collateral damage.
Cause I had this, I mean, I done had some women come out on the woodworks on me. Women, I'm barely, like, we fucked one time, man. How the fuck you act like you know me like that? And it's just like, it's because I wasn't protecting my energy and what I got going on for myself, man. I gave a woman access to I mean, even giving a woman access to your hotel room sometimes. You don't know if that woman going through a laptop or she taking pictures, she doing X, Y, and Z. And so it's just like being careful. Now, again, I'm not saying don't sleep around, because I sleep around. I'm just, no, I don't. I have.
Okay, see what you're not about to do?
Hey, listen, hey, disclaimer for the camera. This is my former self I'm talking about right now. I'm doing a lot of non-sex having. I've been going through shit. I ain't thinking about cheeks right now. I'm really thinking about getting my life together.
Okay, so you're not dating?
Currently, I am dating, but I'm not having
you see,
No. No, there's a
difference
between dating and having sex.
Okay.
Like I'm dating on the getting to know people's energy, being around feminine energy, being in that intimate space. And what I've learned, and I'm not trying to sound super deep, but I've learned that like sometimes my thirst for sex wasn't thirst for sex in the action, it was thirst for that intimate connection. Okay. Hear me out. So now I've learned how to like separate the two. Like a lot of times when I'm like, man, I want to have sex. Nah, sometimes I just wanted to be around some dope feminine energy. Sometimes I just wanted to have a great conversation. Sometimes a nigga just wanted to have a hug or two. And so now I'm kind of separating those things. And my life for the last 6 or 7 weeks have been a little less problematic now that I've had separated those two.
Okay, so that was such a ace metaphor response.
It's the truth.
I think at this particular point in time, I need to separate ace metaphor and Tony. So Tony, as long as you're a man, there's certain things that you can put it so spiritual and so divine and so perfect with wordplay. But at the end of the day, bro, we still a man.
So can I respond to that?
Please.
Okay, so I just moved to Atlanta, right? So that's probably
Good luck.
That's what I'm talking about. So what I'm saying is, could I have had a lot more sex in this last 8 weeks? Abso-fucking-lutely. But what would it have required me to do? Be in situations or environments in which I probably didn't want to be in, entertain women that probably ain't up to my standard of quality because I'm now chasing my dick instead of listening to my spirit telling me that right now I got to be protective of my energy. I allow people to come into my energy that's willing to fuck up everything I've worked for. I ain't doing that shit again. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, you can't get fooled again. And so what I'm saying is right now, like, if I don't know nobody here, I gotta see where the safe spaces are. I got to see for the women that come up to my crib, I got to make sure the ones that take pictures of your credit card don't come up. And that's going to take a little bit more vetting. And so right now it's like, why would I forego my safety and my spiritual health as a man just for some sex? Now, if she got good throat cam, I might.
There go Tony.
Cam. Depending on the throat though, I might take a risk or two. But right now I ain't met a. Nah, I did.
See.
I did meet one of those.
And this is me. This is Tony and Cam speaking. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Boogie and Ace, they can take a step to the side real quick because it sounds like Tony has a problem with female selections because this is the thing that I've always understood. No matter what age. Say what you want about Cam.
Yeah.
But you ain't never, ever heard something about Cam that is derogatory to just Cam out. Look at Cam drunk. Look at him belligerent. He didn't do this. Nah, it may have been a speculation.
Yeah.
But for the facts and the truth, so I say that to combat something that you said. Like, these chicks that are taking pictures of, credit cards.
They do that.
The people who are, I don't even give them opportunities to do that.
Because you're selective then.
Because for me, I see how a girl move.
Yeah.
I see what type of content she posts. And this ain't new me. This is old me talking.
Yeah.
And this is new me talking to the old me, like, bro, we ain't never really changed. Some of our morals did, but it's one of them things like, bro, look how she moving.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, she's in Turks and Caicos, bro. She crying broke to you. So therefore, if she's in Turks and Caicos, she's with another dude. Let's put 2 and 2 together, King.
I agree.
Like, hey, bro, she's got a Birkin bag or she got a Louis bag, like she's crying broke to you. Somebody bought her that. The first thing that I look at when any female approaches me, I don't look at her shoes, I don't look at her heels, I don't look at her purse.
The edges?
I look at her wrist.
Oh, okay.
Because I know what a Richard Mille costs. I know what a Rolex costs. I know what a Cartier costs. And if she got on a Cartier and a Van Cleef, oh, baby, I know what your profession is. And the numbers ain't numbering.
I agree.
So when I put that, I'm like, oh, she got a sponsor in her life.
Yeah.
So when you start putting those two together, and when you really start having these conversations with her and you start saying, like, you dating somebody right now? Like, nah, I'm good. But you got 5 love bracelets on your wrist. You got a Van Cleef and you got a Cartier nail.
Well, so, respectfully.
Who is this? Is this Ace or is this Tony?
No, this is Tony. Okay.
Tony, come on, Tone.
So,
Talk to me.
agreed, right? But the vast majority of average people are having sex before they even know what each other's middle names are.
That's cool. I don't want to know my middle name. That's disrespectful for you to even call me my middle name.
But the point I'm making is,
yeah,
you'll have access to another person's body before you know anything about them to say that this person's energy is safe enough to have in your life.
That's cool. But check this out. I'm gonna make this even wilder to hear.
Go ahead.
You can have access to a person's body and all amenities of their body before they even feel comfortable with posting you, which costs nothing.
I agree.
That's nuts, right? So it's like, yo, I asked a female this once. Here recently, I said, yo, how long does it take a person to make you feel like you can claim them? She said, oh, about 3 weeks. Cool. So this is me asking a female, not that back there in the back. Not that, it's to say like, yo, we got something here. If everything aligns right, he's like, yo, you know, I like Cam, I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is leading me to a question and say like, what are we? But then I asked a simple question. I said, yo, how long will it take for you to feel comfortable with posting your man? Oh, a year, 2 years.
I feel that though.
But why?
Man, I want to take my L in silence. If you don't, hey, listen, if you turn out to be a whack ass person, let me take that L non-publicly. If you take advantage of me, you break my, cool. But the very moment people find out about your issue or your person, and then it happened, now that L is public. And so I can understand people saying, you know what, let me be sure that this is something that's solid. Because if I claim this person in person, especially if that person got some notoriety, right? That person got some notoriety, now those L's very, very public. Now people going through your page, why the fuck you dealing with him? Look at what he said, blah, 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 blah. So I understand. Because here's the thing, people can endure private L's. That's a different conversation in the household. We on the same page. I know what you got going on. We got our agreements and shit. But to see that other people, they don't know your agreements. They don't. They don't know what's going on inside your household. They don't know the benefits y'all give to each other. So now their opinions and shit is all over the fucking internet because they know we talk like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you even if you have posting publicly, man, keep the contents private because that's the last thing you want to deal with. Motherfuckers that don't even know what they talking about got an opinion on your shit.
I don't agree with that.
Why not? Go ahead, tell me about it.
It's because taking your L in private, taking your L in public, the thing that's the common denominator, you're still catching the L.
Yeah, you see it, yeah.
And this is the thing. And I couldn't wait for this conversation to happen because a lot of women will shame a guy for the girls that he's decided to be with. Well, how many guys are shaming the girls for the guys that she's been with?
Well, it depends.
They don't want you to know that. Because behind every woman, there's a guy that's entertaining her to some degree. And she may not want you to know that.
But think about it. I ain't gonna say the name unless you want me to, but it's a
I want you to. You see how that happened? Got to keep it funky.
All right, it's a.
No, we don't want to think about it. It's just.
For example, Lori Harvey.
Talk to me nice.
Lori Harvey. She's had public relationships. That it wasn't like she was dating multiple men at the same time. It's not like she got caught in a scandal, but because she publicized her relationships, now there's this perceived rep of her in a way that a man doesn't get judged that same way. So you go ahead and you post your public relationships with women that are doing things that have accolades. You're getting praised as a man. People are fucking with you. None of the next women that's gonna come talk to you gonna feel intimidated or
Lori
whatever.
Harvey ain't praised. Let's talk. Let's talk about it.
By men?
Yes.
You don't, the whole thing?
Who cares? Cause a dude ain't worried about that. The only thing a dude worried about really is nothing. It's not for me. And I'm gonna put you on this gym and everybody else on this gym. It's not the men that it's not being with the man because you know, or we know that you've been with men. It's the quality of man. And that's what's so hard for people to understand and dissect. It's like, yo, I assume that you've been with a man. Now with Lori Harvey, like, bro, she's been vetted. She knows how to move. And she's always been the heart killer or the heart snatcher, heartbreaker, so to speak. And when you think about that as a man, you better understand what comes with that. Is that her fault? I don't think so.
I don't know if we being honest about this conversation. I think she takes a lot of flack.
No. We are being
she-
honest. I'm speaking my truth.
Yeah, but as compared to how this was a man moving in a similar way, she gets way more flack online for just being a 20-something-year-old dating somebody.
Okay, let me put it like this. So when you say catch more flack, is it a flex or not to be with Lori Harvey? What do you say? It's not a flex?
Why you put me on the spot?
I'm asking.
If it was me being with Lori Harvey, it's definitely a flex.
If it was me, yes. If I see another person with Lori Harvey, it's still a flex. So where is this narrative being spewed? Like, has she been with a lot of people in the industry? Yes, you can name 3 of them off the bat. But the truth of the matter is like, yo, let's put things into real perspective. Is this something that the culture has identified? Like, oh my God, like she's this. But every man, if you're with her, is still a flex because she checks all the boxes.
Yes, her. But then now we go to the average woman. The average woman that's on my page right now, when I talk about, hey, keep your options open if you're not exclusively dating somebody, you know what I'm saying? Vet multiple men at the same time. Go to coffee here, go to here. You ain't got to sleep with them. But if you single, be single. If you say that, there's women even internalizing, I can't do that. That'll make you a hoe.
No, for sure it will.
How?
Because you can't keep, like, I look at guys through my lens. I know that there is guys that's out there that look at relationships and just perspectives like me. You're not about to sit up here and be going to coffee dates and other dates with multiple versions of Cam and ain't nobody gonna want nothing out of it. Like I said this before, I don't kiss the cuddle. Like, I'm not going on dates just to be able to say I'm actively dating. I'm going on dates to score. I'm not trying to get friend zone, bro. I'm trying to get in the end zone, bro. If you understand what I'm saying.
Is that a projection then, right? So like now it's saying, okay, because this is how I operate as a man, I'm now projecting how I think all those other men are operating. And now I'm uncomfortable with you exploring your options as a woman and picking the best suitors. Because here's the thing. Cam, there's some people that might be the best suitor on paper. It's a lot of niggas with a lot of money that turn out to be lame as fuck or can't be monogamous or whatever the case may be. So on paper, yeah, I'm out here with this particular person, but this dude that work at Louis' janitorial service, this motherfucker's attentive.
Not for you.
Yeah, like and so I only know that through vetting multiple people. And then here's the thing, even if we're gonna be honest about it, that better suits that man. Because how many women are unhappy in relationships because they only dated one nigga at a time? So you are de facto the man she settled for because there was nothing to compare it to during the dating process.
Right.
So it wasn't even like you was the best. You was just the one that asked her out first. And then now you invest years of your life into a woman that now figures out like, shit, I don't even really know what I like because she didn't explore it. So I think it's even serving to a man to have a woman actually see what she likes and you be the best suitor for her.
Yeah. See, this is the thing that I must say about a conversation like this. First off, it's needed, right? And two things can be correct. I think too many times platforms, and this is what has made your content so, prominent and impactful, because people aren't having these type of conversations. And when you make your point, you may get that's cool. But to have it is successful. To not have it, and for me to think what I think, for you to think what you think, is unsuccessful. Yeah. Because you're giving me perspective, I'm giving you perspective, and together we're giving everybody else perspective. Now, the thing that I want to ask is being the other man an insecurity? Or is it just fun, like we talked about?
Is being the other man?
Yes. Is that a creation of insecurity? Like, she's dating on you, you're the other man she's dating.
And you accept it.
Yeah.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. I would say no.
Okay.
I would say no, unless your true motive is to actually be with her. There are a lot of men that are okay with just the sexual benefit of a woman. There's a lot of men that don't want their time held up by one particular woman. That's why a woman that's in a relationship is attracted to that man, because she can't command your time and babysit you if she's in a full other relationship. So there are men with that role fits perfectly in their life, because here you come, you only got an hour. So now I ain't even got to ask you.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
And groceries.
Yeah, and groceries. Now I ain't got to ask you, so what you about to do? Because we already know you got to get back to your family. So, but there are other men, though, that will play the friend zone. They ain't even the other man for real. They ain't even getting the draws. But what they doing is, I'm playing that friend zone. You can't have friends though. And you up there secretly being a shopping buddy, hoping that the other guy stumble. And I think that situation is an insecurity.
But are you really a friend though? That's what females don't realize.
Oh, well, yeah. But
are you though? Are your intentions truly to be a friend? Or is it to have this person bend?
Most men is to have that person bend.
Yeah.
I believe that that's when you're in a relationship and this guy is doing that. I feel like it's the hopefully how you fumble, like the other guy fumble. Mm-hmm. And then here I am, was able to gain your trust by talking shit about the guy you with. And that's what happened. Like, yeah, I never do that shit. Yeah, he should be all this bullshit, bro. I hate that, man. It really pisses me off. So I think that's an insecure man, because you don't have enough confidence to even be forthcoming about what your true intentions are.
Yeah, but all my life I've been honest, and I told you I only got 45.
Yeah.
But you wanted 24. Yeah. I can't give you that. I'm trying to hit it from the back. You want some more? You want some more? I ain't got it. Mm-hmm. I'm snapping right now, but okay.
But can I say this though? In that scenario about if a man is insecure, even if a man is only looking for sex, even if a man doesn't want a woman occupying much of his time, and that woman in a relationship feels it, there is some sort of insecurity that makes you believe you ain't player enough to find that in a woman that ain't got a man. That you ain't player enough to say, hey, listen, hey, babe, this is all I got. This is all I got for you. Yeah. A lot of men, because they not player enough to just to say what they want. Because here's the thing, there are men that don't want to be in a monogamous relationship, but they ain't player enough to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like when you get into cheating, like, is it an insecurity in the face of it? It may not be. It might be lack of discipline, but sometimes it is, because you're insecure about what you really want and you're hiding it from the person that you say you care about the most. Yeah. This is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Mm-hmm. Say it.
So cheating to me and my maturity in dating and just living as a whole, even, with me and my partner, what we talk about, my lady, my dog, you know what I'm saying? My ace, you feel me? Like, over the years that we've been talking and we have these conversations over a cigar, over dinner, just, really connecting. Cheating isn't sex. Cheating is deceit.
Yeah.
So I'll explain it like this. Whatever you and your partner understands, that's not cheating. So too many times people they trauma bond and be like, oh, that is, well, I'll never go for that, sis, or bro, I'll never let my woman do. Bro, whatever he signed up for, whatever she signed up for, what works for them, it may not work for you. And I ain't asking, keep your 2, 3, 4, and 5 cents. But sex is not cheating. Deceit is cheating. Because if you're telling your partner, oh, baby, I want a monogamous relationship, but you're being platonic with having a polygamous relationship in deceit or a disguise of you my wife, you my girlfriend, and blah, 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 I think there's more men that should be held accountable to like, yo, what do you want? What was the advertising lure to lure her to you? And when you got her, did that change?
It takes a secure man in himself to be able to communicate to a person he cares about that he has a sexual appetite for other people. When you don't do that and you indulge in it anyway, I believe that makes that man insecure because you're not secure enough in your truth
For sure.
to live in it. And then that's where that deceit comes in. So even when you were asking me about the guy being the other guy, like you're not actually living in your truth. You probably don't want a woman that's in a relationship. You just don't want a woman that's all on you, that's worried about what you're doing. Because oftentimes if you're that other guy, you're just the other guy to her. And you got your multiple situations. You get what I'm saying? But you know, if you get a woman that actually, a quality woman that actually desires a relationship, you can't run that, I'm busy 28 days of the week or 28 days in a month and I can only see you at dark at 1 a.m. in the morning. You can't really run that with her. So I just think it's about being secure in your truth. And then honestly, I'll be honest with you. It's about us actually giving people honest and transparent communication, because if you don't, you are taking somebody's power of choice away.
Yeah.
You are taking a woman or a man's ability to choose whether or not they down for that. And here's the bottom line. Most people, if you were honest about it,
They'll be down for
they'd be down for it. Now again, maybe not loudly.
Yeah.
Maybe not loudly, but if we got this understanding, and the understanding is don't be sloppy. Don't do this.
Don't embarrass
Don't embarrass me. You know what I'm saying? Then that's a conversation two people can have.
I'm gonna move on after this, but I need to make this point because in most situations, especially for the strong, woman, when you give them this ultimatum, this or that, when you ask, would you deal with me having sex or a person that you're dating having sex with another person, or would you prefer that person to provide for the other person? Which one would you prefer?
Sex, probably.
Right. Because nobody wants to be able to say like, hey, Tony, he just bought me he just paid for he just took me on this and and guess what? I didn't even open my knees. That right there that a female finds out, it's like, hold on, what? You took her to Jamaica with you?
Nah, that's crazy.
And y'all just having it, that's your friend?
That's crazy.
That's the embarrassment part that like women will, and you'd be surprised as a dude, like you'll be surprised the woman that's at that point in their life was like, bro, I don't want nothing. I just want to have fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I've had those conversations where it's like, yo, that's wild. Like you're so complete, but like who made you like this, right? You know what I mean? It's whatever. But one of the things that while viewing your content, there was a term that I found was like something that I was like, oh, it's called dirty macking. And you kind of did it as you was telling that situation. An example of dirty macking is being on the phone saying you'd never do basically, you're speaking down on a person or exposing a man, what a man is truly doing, and then trying to up your side, meaning like, yo, I'm about to give you a tell-all of what men actually do. I'm not like that though. You see what I'm saying? Like you give, like your content is more pro-woman, and I'm not mad at that. I actually commend you for that because you do put a lot of women on. And it's important that women are put on from the standpoint, it's like, yo, do you really, like one of the main things that I was trying to get my lady to understand, and all women to understand, is do you really understand what a man will do? To just, like a dude will play his role for years, centuries, and that one night.
Yeah.
So, like that analogy And I have a definition for dirty macking. Urban Dictionary, by the way, says someone who messes up your chances with a guy or girl by portraying them as unworthy or untrustworthy, dishonest, a womanizer, or otherwise undesirable. Right? Basically talking down on the next man so that you look or sound good as a possible better option.
Okay. I get where we going.
Yeah.
So to directly say, agree, disagree, right?
Okay.
So like, for example, would it be dirty macking of a father to talk to his daughter about what to watch for during dating because when he was younger, these are the tricks he used to play?
Yes.
Would that be dirty macking?
No, that is an actual fact because I tell my daughters, I have 3. I tell my daughters, I'm telling you the things because I'm protecting you from guys like me.
So one of the things in our community, and we got to talk about, the lack of fathers in our community doesn't just affect little black boys, it affects little black girls as well. And there is oftentimes a reason why women will sign up for mistreatment because they didn't get healthy male validation growing up. They didn't have that uncle that gave them the game. They didn't have that brother that gave them the game. They didn't have that father that gave them the game. And so when I think about my content, I'm never talking about a specific person, but if the shoe fit, it fit. If I'm talking about a toxic person, if I'm talking about a person that leeches from you, a person that doesn't appreciate you, and if you're relatively unhappy with, I'm not talking to that guy and saying, you need to treat her better. I rarely make videos aimed to a guy saying, you're fucked up, you're doing the wrong thing. Right. It's me saying, hey, listen, if you are seeing these uncommittal signs from a man, if you were saying you being led on, why you keep holding on to the string? At some point, you got to take control of your dating situation and walk away from something that's taken from you.
Yeah.
And that is a conversation that anybody that cares for an individual will have with her. It just so happens mine is on the internet. Now, I go back to the dirty macking part. Clearing up a misconception. Bro, we talked about all the non-sex I've been having. But when I was on, we do tours all the time. I've been doing tours for 10 years now. And I ain't gonna lie, I had one good year. I did too much.
I was running through the 6 with my bro.
It's probably, I ain't gonna, you was in the league. That's probably crazy. But I can only imagine, because even, I'm talking about, I may have been 26 at the time, 27. And the shows weren't even that big. It's probably, it is considerate, but it's like 150, 200 people there, women. And I do remember, it was a stretch where it was like, bro, I had to check myself. When you gotta look in the mirror, the camera on me, I said, you a hoe. You a hoe. I had to look at myself. I had to just embrace it and say, I gotta do better. And from that moment on, bro, I've been really, really better about that.
I just want to respond.
You just look at yourself, you it's situations where I know men must feel it the same way sometimes, because I know a woman probably go to the bathroom and think the same thing. And sometimes you like, what are you doing? That's how bad it was. But I go to saying this, especially with my content, I hear from the naysayers all the time, there's this assumption that this is my way of how I would get girls and this, that, and other, this, that, and other. Bruh, the last thing I'm worried about, heterosexual wise, because you got to be careful the last thing I'm worried about right now is women. You know what I'm saying? If anything, like I said to you before, I'm in that space of my life where choosing the right woman is going to be important to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not about random women and I'm doing this content to sleep with. I don't sleep with people. I don't really do that. I'm protecting my energy. And I know you rolling your eyes, man. You rolling your eyes. Listen, I'm fucked out. Hear me out. Man, I'm out of fucks, bruh. Cam, you still relatively in shape. You look really spry. But I'm getting sick of it. I gotta put in the hour of work. What you doing, just laying there? You're laying there. I'm putting in all the work. Then you want me to eat you out. And my jaw be locking up. Cam, it's just too much work. And so right now I'm in a space in my life where I done did all that, man. I did all that. I'm
gonna tell you when I was doing all that. So me and my partners is my family. We will call it the Hall of Fame walk. After you climax and you walk, you know what I'm saying, to the bathroom, you kind of close that door and you find that mirror and you was like, I can't say it, but you were. I would look at myself in the mirror, clean myself up, wipe myself off with the hot warm towel, and I said, boy, I love you, boy. You just, and then you had that moment where you was like, you straight in there? Yeah, I'm good. Hey, yo, where is the, no, don't worry. You had to flush the toilet like you doing some moving, but you had that one-on-one time in that mirror, and you're like,
Yo, but then it start feeling empty.
it's like it instantly goes from passion to how are we going to get her out of here?
And then here's the thing. It's like what I was chasing, I never found in between a woman's legs. I just didn't know what I was searching for, so I thought that that's where I was going to find it.
Okay.
And so when you continue to do that over and over and over and over again, and you're now dealing with the consequences of it, because again, now you got problems brought to your life, you're dealing with women you don't really need to be yoked with. And so you're searching for something. And so yeah, now you get that little masculine pump, like, ooh, look what I did, yada, yada, yada. But then after a while, you like, man, I remember there was a period where I would be having sex physically, but mentally my mind is on my business. My mind is worried about this and this topic because I'm not even into this shit. Then I asked myself afterwards, why did I even do it? It's because I felt like I was supposed to.
Yeah. You're feeding your ego.
Well, also, I'm feeding this perception that because I'm a man, I'm supposed to want to do it. I done learned to tell women no. No dick. They don't like it, neither. Not tonight. And then they'll look at you crazy like, what?
No, I'm with you. I think what I've learned in dating with being happy in a relationship is this. Sometimes you got to remind yourself who you are.
Yeah.
And is that a problem? Because I'm asking because I love to have the ball in my court.
Yeah.
I love to just get a girl number and I'm like, I will never call you.
Yeah.
I got your number. The thought of knowing that you can feeds my appetite, not even acting on it.
I agree.
And that's not to say every time I'm by myself, I still flirt or pursue other women, because I do not. We're talking in past tense a lot. And just knowing that, like, yo, bro, you have to go through it though. You have to be able to say, I don't like that. I don't want that. I don't need that right now, because what I'm pursuing, what I'm becoming as a businessman, it can jeopardize all that. Like, do I need the girl with all the aspirin? Or do I need the girl with the classy?
But you multiple times in this conversation refer to a feeling you get when you do it, right?
Used to.
You used to. Yeah, because we don't need you.
Please.
We don't need that no more for
Yeah,
you.
I
know. We do
I'm
not need
happy.
it. Okay, yeah.
In
we don't
the
need that.
situation that I'm in right now.
Because I be seeing some of your clips go viral. I said,
sure.
That person on this seat should have been, no, Cam,
Yes,
not today.
Yeah. And I'm learning that.
Yeah, but I will say, when you talk about that feeling you used to get, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I found other ways in my life to get that said feeling. You get what I'm saying? So like now, there's other things that I'm doing that give me that same like feeling that I still got it.
Yeah.
Like being able to sell out a show again, give me a feeling I still got that shit. Being able to take a hit when it come to business, but then recover, I still got that shit.
Yeah.
To now throw out another video and it get 1 million views, I still got that shit. There's other things that now feel that way. And then here's the thing, being able to have a dope ass conversation with a woman, and I ain't trying to, like, a lot of people gonna see this and they be like, you want some simp shit. No, for real, like, you know how many women that I can sleep with but didn't have a decent ass conversation with?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
no.
to be on the phone for an hour, like, like, I ain't gonna lie, the one time, you know, when you start to do this, like, I ain't did that since high school. And that feeling gave me that same type of feeling. So as much as I do like the sexual chase of it, what I'm chasing now is that intimate connection.
Yeah.
And then if we got that right, then everything is fair game.
Yeah, that's man, That's so dope that you bring up, because it doesn't matter how happy you are in a relationship, you still desire intimacy in ways where it's a respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm such an alpha, right? And there's times where you gotta be strong, you gotta be macho in the presence of other men, and then what nukes that is feminine energy.
Yep.
So for me, and dare I disrespect, but like just being around women can nuke that.
Yep.
And it's not, you have no sexual desire for that woman. It's just for perspective. It's just having an articulate, business-minded, just life, conversation. And it's like, yo, like, you know what? I like that. I like that.
You know what's interesting, and I'm gonna say this, two points. The first point to what you just said was, in my life, this is my definition of it. I've heard a lot of men talking about how P is power, right? A woman's P is power, right?
Vagina, yes.
Right, they'll say that, right? And this is my the most powerful women I've ever met had nothing to do with sex.
Yeah.
It had everything to do with how her presence calmed me as a person, how her presence guided me as a person.
Yeah.
How her posture during a time in a turbulent time in my life became a stabilizing force. And what I'm saying is, like, a woman like that's I don't like using the word masculine and feminine, but for the sake of argument, her feminine energy is so strong. That's the woman that had you wrapped around her finger.
No, for sure.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm searching for, because I'm saying everybody got P.
Yeah.
And everybody can put it, not everybody, but a lot of people can put that on you, but not a lot of people can, in that conversation, make you feel like you Superman without you having to have sex with her.
Oh, that's for sure.
And then the second thing is, even when we talking about, because I was in a relationship before where, we explored other partners and yada, yada, yada. You know what was dangerous about that, though, is because we had already had our connection, right? And that thing that we explored was primarily just for sex. Then even as our vetting process as a couple became incomplete, because now we're not even, we should have still been vetting this person as a complete person, because that person can come in and bring energy to your relationship that can disrupt it.
Unwanted.
Yeah, so it's even in that situation where you do have a partner that's down, it's still very important for all parties involved to understand that energy, any negative energy, we can't fuck with that one.
It's crazy, because as you were talking, the P, in this case, vagina, is powerful because it produces life.
Yeah.
But sex isn't powerful.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yo, you gotta know the difference. I think the biggest turn on for me, and it's not, dare I say, turn on. The biggest respect that I have for a woman is she knows how to move.
Yeah.
A woman that knows who she is and is not trying to, be status quo. And that's what understanding yourself, like taking those journeys, like, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
And when you see it, it's like how she moves, how she talks, how she's able to, control her own in a room with guys who are attracted to her, but she never crosses the line.
Yeah.
And guys need to know too, because I haven't always been in this space of understanding that, like, bro, every pretty girl is not meat.
Yep.
You feel me? Like, every pretty girl is not somebody that you should try to get her number from. It's a respect there. And my partner helped me understand that. The people who I have working alongside with me has allowed me to accept that. And too many times, being in a very powerful situation as a man, you only look at the sexual benefits that you can get from a woman. And it's sad. But I fell victim to it. And now being able to say, like, yo, I like that. I like how you move, sis. You know what I'm saying? It's not you're rocking that thing. Like, you're carrying yourself with so much elegance and grace. It's like, dang, like, that's dope. But one of the things that...
Can I just say this real quick?
Please.
Just to separate this. I'm separating you from this conversation.
Okay.
A lot of heterosexual men don't like women for real. They don't. They like women sexually, but they don't like women. They're not attracted to what a woman is outside of her sexual organs. So then when we get into why a lot of men womanize, or why it's just they're minimizing a woman based off of who she slept with or who she potentially can sleep for, because it's like you haven't gained the appreciation of the wholeness of a woman yet, and what that wholeness of a woman can bring to your life. A lot of times we'll talk about strength and we'll say men are stronger than women, but that's because we value physical strength. We're not talking about emotional strength, spiritual strength. We're not talking about the type of strength that can run a household. And we're not putting that same type of weight. And what I would encourage, and this was the shift that I had to do, is I had to start liking the wholeness of a woman outside of sex. And then when you do that, now you appreciate the things a complete woman can bring to your life. When we talk about the Bible talks about finding a capable wife, right? That capable wife, that person that if you was to stumble, can pick up the ball and start running. And there's a lot of men that have just a wife because they was only concerned about what she can do in the bed. And so what I'm just encouraging men to do is just like, and it's for our own benefit, because a lot of us, especially men with some type of means, we end up finding a dependent, not a partner. Yeah, she can fuck us good, but if you was able to stumble, bro, what the fuck is gonna happen with your family? And so I just encourage men to be, I'm not gonna say more, because that's unrealistic to a lot of men, but as attracted to what she brings as a feminine energy to your life outside of just what you're doing in between.
Check this out. So to that point, OG told me this. Says, what's more important to you? Having heavenly nights and hellacious days, or hellacious nights and heavenly days?
Yeah.
Because when you really think about the nights, it's really 45 minutes, 30 minutes,
Give him 45.
10
You give him,
minutes.
I was about to say, you give him 45?
That's foreplay included.
Okay.
Like, let me stop.
Okay.
That was
Because 45, hey, I get nervous when somebody talk about an hour.
Man, listen.
Hey, listen.
Maturity will teach you. It ain't even the minutes, it's the songs. How many songs you got through on your playlist?
Hey, have you ever been humbled by Netflix? Listen, I got humbled by Netflix before. Meaning, you know what I'm saying? I start pausing Netflix because I don't want to miss the show. So I think I'm putting in a whole bunch of work, right? But one time, like, I didn't pause it, right? And it just played through.
The minutes.
And I went back, it was like 3.5 minutes. I said, God damn. Because in my mind, I was there 20 minutes. In my mind, it was 20. It was
My boy, you didn't even get past the da-dun.
But you know, maturity is learning how both bodies work and getting there in 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying this is just the, hey, we both tired, we gotta work in the morning.
Yeah.
But maturity is, I can get you there in about 3.
Yeah.
After you get there, I'm gonna get there about 3.
Yeah.
Then we get into sleep. Now for the special night, 45 sound real good, bro. But
That's
45? That's a workout. Do you take pre-workout before that?
Who, me? No, I'm natty. Like I'm natural. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like I'm.
Oh, can I talk to the
vegetarian.
camera? That's a joke, y'all. I can, 6 minutes, that's not me. That was a joke. I'm not 45,
Bro,
I'm probably about
that's not
20,
a joke for
25.
Me. Like we gotta start. If you want the men to be honest, let's be honest. It's like, bro, like, it's okay. But if you ask anybody,
Yeah.
everybody will say, like, bro, it don't take that long to do nothing.
45 is crazy.
One of the things that we're talking about, and I want to compartmentalize something real quick, because dirty macking, is that dirty macking or is it good parenting?
It's
Because when I talk to my daughters, or even when I talk to my children, sons included, it's like, yo, bro, like, I must tell you what it's going to be like through my experiences.
Exactly.
So is it good parenting, or is that still dirty macking? Because your content, that's how we got to it. It's like, yo, you're putting a lot of people on game, from female-wise and male-wise. So
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about that though? Because I saw the need. I saw that though. Like, before I created tonight's conversation, I just had the Ace Metaphor platform, and I still had millions of followers and getting views or whatever. But a lot of people would come to my page and be like, bro, what content you got for men? Why is it always one-sided and this, that, and other, blah, 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 blah. And I realized that's because that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I want to talk about. And so the need to create tonight's conversation, ironically enough, was born out of the need for me to have another platform where I can have other perspectives brought in, other people that's thinking from different angles to add balance to a conversation without me having to change what my overall core opinions were.
Yeah.
And so when we created tonight's conversation, that's what I thought made it so dope. When I was picking talent, I'm like, I needed 6, 7, 8, 10 different ass people with different perspectives on relationships, because then now you get into that honest conversation. But if it's just me in front of a camera, I'm going to talk about my truth and what I'm passionate about. And my truth is, to be honest with you, people clown me for it, and I don't know why they do, but I was raised by a single mom. And I'm proud as fuck. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Now, my dad, in the second half of my life, I mean, I talk to him every single day. My dad has had a meaningful influence in my life, so I don't want to discount that. But my perspective is seeing my mom, being raised by my grandma. My cousins were all women, or girls at the time. And so I grew up having an affinity to women and girls in that plight. So that's something that's part of my truth. It makes me authentic to my message.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump around real quick, but I want to ask you this too. How did you vet your co-hosts and cast members as you was beginning to think that you needed another platform, which inevitably became tonight's conversation? How did that vetting process work for you?
Man, the initial vetting process was, I was looking for people that was dope on the internet. I had a vision for it. I had a vision for the voices. The first time I shot tonight's conversation, it was in January. I rented out this big art institute, and I had 2 rooms going at the same time. And I think I had brought like 40 people from all over the country. I had poets, I had comedians, I had people that were in a relationship space. And so my vetting process, a lot of it started from people that I already knew.
Yeah.
Just Mike the Poet, Trip Fontaine. Me and Trip Fontaine we'd have worked together many times. Real Talk the Poet, K-Love the Poet, so on and so forth. TC from Houston, I already knew him. I had done a tour with him. So a lot of it was my friends. Then I reached out to certain influencers that I felt like was dominant on the space. Keita Rose was dominant in the space at the time. Randy Rosario, then we had Rico. We had all these different people that came in. And so through doing that and having those different perspectives, we ended up just figuring out who the audience liked the most, and then we ended up creating more of a consistent cast from that point. But the vetting process, I'm saying, if somebody can't catch my eye, then they can't be on the platform.
Just your attention as...
Yeah, like I needed to scroll through, and you caught my eye, and then you had something to say. Like you had to have had something to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Too many times we worried about, and this is a conversation you probably bring up, but too many times we worried about this and that, and if people gonna like it or no. I wanted you to have something to say, whether people liked what you said or not.
Yeah.
Whenever you talked on this platform, I wanted it to be impactful, and I wanted you to be unapologetic about it. So I think that was one of the things that drew me through. When we get to Kitty Rose, when we get to Trill AC, when I was able to like just go to their content, I'm like, bro, they saying something.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to watch the whole 60 seconds. Everybody that I've ever had on our platform is because I became a fan of their talent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I was able to pick it.
There's something about how you move. Like one of the questions in pre-production that I asked, I was like, did you pledge?
I did not. So like, I wish I did. That's one of my biggest regrets, because I went to community college.
Okay.
And so we didn't have
a chapter.
Yeah.
But you know you can still pledge.
Oh, I'm thinking about it.
And I know I didn't pledge any of the colors that, you know, people may, you know, warrant, but I did pledge to myself. You can't say who you are leaning towards or not. Okay, say less.
Take a guess. You got what? You got 4 tries. I mean, you got 1 out of 4 chance. What would you say?
I wouldn't. Okay. I don't want to disrespect. Bro, I done got burnt by doing things.
Nobody got a guess?
I don't know the fraternity life. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's just one of those things that it's better to just be quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'll tell you this. I'll give you a hint. When I was 18, I went down to Alabama for, I think it was called the Magic City Classic. Shit was jumping. And I remember that was the first time I had got introduced to Greek life. It wasn't in the sense of what they did as far as community work, and because that wasn't on display then, because I mean obviously it was a big weekend football game, whatever.
Right.
And I remember going to this party, and I had seen them on stage, and let's just say they're not historically known for being pretty boys, okay? But I remember seeing them on stage and just thinking, them dudes are cool, right? But then after noticing it, a lot of influential people in my life in Dayton, Ohio were that same fraternity. And then when I started getting around and knowing how they moved and this, that, and other, got me really, really interested in it. So long story short, I got one in mind if I ever did it.
Yeah, that's good to kind of mention, because transparently speaking, being a person like myself, I've always valued what I believe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it comes with a lot of independence. But then as you mature and you start seeing yourself, or you start seeing why other people do certain things, it's like, that's not that bad. And realizing that everybody wants to belong to something. And when you build a community, no matter if it's a sorority or a fraternity, that's people's allegiance, emotional allegiance to something. And I can't say at all times in my life I approved it, but as the person that I am now, I'm like, yo, I like that. I can respect a good fraternity that has good morals, because it takes you to go through something and not be in a fraternity and realize the power of a fraternity, and all the guys who are, they get in this network and they say bro, I need help at volunteerism. And that's the dope side that people don't see about it. And that's really creating change for, African Americans who have this, I'm my own person. But
Can I speak to that?
please.
That is why, I mean, even if it's not a fraternity, that's one of the biggest things that I wish I had differently is a community or a network of like-minded people. Like I discussed, I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Everything I've ever done, I've never had funding. I've never took a loan. I never had scholarships. I didn't have a person that was in arm's reach that were more successful than I was, that would get me on and let me know the potential pitfalls. Everything that I was doing was trial and error.
Right.
And so when you have that community person, or you got that network of people, even being in a space like Atlanta or whatever, where you have people that are doing that, you can reach out, hey, how did you do this?
Yeah.
Man, I'm talking about, people look at the shows now. Some shows that get 9,000 people in New York, but you don't look at Montgomery, Alabama, where we only got 700 people, and I don't even want to tell you how much money I lost there. And so when you're going through that process of figuring it out on your own, there's so many lessons that you could have avoided if you had somebody there.
Expedited.
Yeah, and then you could have made sure you had this together, because you need this to avoid a problem that's coming.
For sure.
You don't see it now. And so that's one of the things. Community is something that I wish I embraced earlier.
Because a lot of times in any type of endeavor, trial and error is going to happen.
Yep.
And having resources to eliminate those trials and errors, some of them is inevitable. It's going to happen, and you can't avoid it.
One more thing. But the reason I'm glad I didn't sometimes is because I didn't want to have voices telling me I couldn't. There are so many people right now. My episodes are not on YouTube for people to watch. It's behind a paywall. And I imagine if I had told people that in the beginning, because it was so robotic just to say, all right, we're gonna put it on YouTube and this, that, and other. That was just the way people were doing it. Advertisement dollars, corporate, this, you can't do it this way. What if I had this brilliant idea and I went to somebody, and at the genesis, before I even tried it, they shut it down. So there is some type of solace of me saying, okay, the reason I was able to chart this rather unique path is because I didn't have influences telling me that I couldn't.
For sure.
I
want to get to a point where it's evident that you have a way of words. Where did that come from?
Man, I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. So they used to have this thing called the Theocratic Ministry School, where you would have 5 minutes to give a talk to the congregation. and you would have to make a middle, ending, end. You'd have to read scriptures in between. And then I used to have to knock on doors, and I used to have to convince people to take a watchtower and a wake.
Have you heard the news?
I know. And so, like, you end up having to communicate well. You end up needing to tell people why you're there and what benefit you can give to them. And then I started liking poetry. I started writing. And so those are the things. But then I would also give credit to my uncle. My uncle, he was, he gave me all the game. That, that's the uncle that's telling you what you need to say to girls and stuff. And so I would say a combination of those different things.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm always curious to see at what point in a person's life did it shift or did it click and be like, yo, I got something here. Mm-hmm. And even while you're evolving into your own, person. Was there something that you went through personally, having a personal experience was like, yo, I got to talk about this because I know there's more people that's going through this than that's not. And what was that?
Ooh. Yeah, so I would say it wasn't a specific thing I know I needed to talk about. It was I needed a way to channel and connect with people. For example, so I talked about being a Jehovah's Witness. I had got disfellowship from being a Jehovah's Witness. Mm-hmm. So that's when I was about 21, 22. And I started Metaphorically Speaking, which is my poetry company. I started that when I was 23. I needed something else to channel. I was so used to speaking to people, speaking in front of crowds. I was so used to having somewhat of a network because all the congregations, all the young people hung out with each other. Right. I was so used to having that. This was the first time in my life where I actually felt by myself without a purpose. Mm-hmm. My whole life before I got this fellowship, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to be somebody's, they call them elders, just like a pastor, and I wasn't going to be giving talks in front of a convention of 8,000 people. In my mind, it's what I've always wanted to do. Right. And so when I got into poetry or when I got into public speaking, it's because I am the same person I was when I was 7, 8, or 9. Yeah. Those dreams never was, it was detoured a little bit. Maybe there's a different avenue that I was going to get there, but I found a need to get on the stage again because I missed being on the stage at the hall. Mm. I felt a need to reach people with advice because I used to knock on doors and reach them with a message from God. So it was just transferring to a different lane, but it fulfilled the same need for me. Mm-hmm. So that's why I started speaking publicly. And this is why this is something that's super important to me because my relationship to it predates the subject matter. Yeah. My relationship to my purpose to speak and to connect with people is something I've always had for all of my life.
Now, are you still Jehovah's Witness?
I'm disfellowshipped. So that means that it just means that I'm no longer part of the Jehovah's Witness. I can't identify as a Jehovah's Witness. My core beliefs as a person still is that, right. But I don't identify as a Jehovah's Witness.
Say less. And you identify as, like, what book do you read?
I read the Bible.
Okay.
So,
what's the biggest misconception about being Jehovah's Witness that people may not understand?
People call it a cult. I don't believe it's a cult. So it's I think that's the biggest misconception. Mm-hmm. It is, I don't believe it's a cult. It's similar, it's Christian. The biggest difference is a Christian might come here and say, hey, I believe that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost are all one entity. It's the Trinity, right? Whereas we believe there's God, his Son, Jesus, which is the firstborn of creation, and then you will have Holy Spirit is something God will grant you in order to be able to carry out preaching his word. Yeah. So similar, just a different interpretation of some scriptures. A lot of Christians believe in hellfire. Whereas a Jehovah's Witness would say, okay, I don't believe in hellfire of Sheol, but I do believe that when you're dead, that's nothing. Like, and when we think about hellfire in the Bible, that just it signifies internal destruction. And then the other biggest thing is a lot of people believe that when you die, you go to heaven, whereas the Jehovah's Witness may believe that some people go to heaven, but the vast majority of us have what they call a earthly hope, which is when God created Adam and Eve, it was to be on a paradise earth. And he gave them the directive to say, hey, on this paradise earth, we want you to populate it and live as perfect individuals. Now, because they sinned, we entered into imperfection. However, God's original purpose for the earth was just detoured, not abandoned. So then there is this heavenly hope that people have, but then an earthly hope with paradise earth being perfected. So it's long story short, in my life, after being a Jehovah's Witness, I've studied and learned and talked to many different religions. Yeah. And I'm not going to be a person that says that I believe that those differences doesn't matter. But ultimately, everybody got the same goal, to live the best life you can.
For sure.
And that's why I respect anybody's beliefs. And then I'm not going to try to push my beliefs on you. As long as something that you believe gets you closer to God and being a good person to people, I support that.
Yeah. So where did the relationship advice kind of come into? Because somebody who was it? What's her name? Like what?
Atonement, man. Like let me tell you this, bruh. Like my tagline forever has been former bad guy turned good. Mm-hmm. Like when it comes to not being what I needed to be in my previous relationships in my early 20s. Right now, I can like chalk it up to being young as fuck.
Yeah.
But at the time, you know what I'm saying? Like the way I was behaving, the way I was moving with women, it's something that I became increasingly unproud of. Mm-hmm. And so when I first started doing these videos, it was me talking to myself in the phone. Like if I put my phone up right now, when I'm recording a video, I see myself.
Yeah.
And so it was me giving advice to myself to where hopefully I can live up to that projection that I wanted, right? Yeah. And so that's where it comes from, man. It's not that I've been necessarily, I was hurt a couple times. But it doesn't come from a place of someone did me wrong.
Yeah.
It comes from a place of I used to do wrong and I don't want to do wrong no more. These are the lessons I'm learning in order to not be wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Are you poly?
No. Well, I'm not poly in the sense that I want 2 active, full-ass relationships.
What do you mean?
I don't want multiple girlfriends.
What do you want?
I want one girlfriend, one wife, with whom we can explore sexual relationships with other people.
And I can hear the comments now.
Uh-huh.
Can she explore other relationships with other men?
Other men?
Yeah.
I ain't got that far yet.
So.
But the older I get, the less opposed to it I am. It depends.
On?
The arrangement.
So you're dating this girl and she says, hey, I want to venture off. I seen a dude that, I gave him, I'm being full transparent. I gave him my number. I know what is.
In my mind, let's back it up. In my mind, I'm thinking about a sex party. I'm not thinking about that deep. Like now I'm thinking about in terms of being in a relationship where you comfortable, you got trust or whatever.
Yeah.
We go to a sex party, you go your way, I go my way. Then I'm not tripping, but I don't know if I'm getting to that point.
But you're good where you could go to a sex party and you go one way.
See, I be too worried about who I'm fucking to worry about who she fucking.
That don't make sense to me.
No, yes, it do make sense.
Make it make sense.
I'm over here fucking. Mm-hmm. I want to enjoy my fuckitude. Mm-hmm. So I'm more worried about that than I am about what you're doing over there, if that was part of our agreement.
You spoke about it before, and the thing about most men, mm-hmm. and I'm speaking to me, mm-hmm. at one point in my life, it wasn't that I cared what another woman did, but if I'm giving you a version of me that a lot of people aren't getting, women, mm-hmm. I don't want another man to have what I want. You know what I'm saying? And there's a control that you feel like you're mine. And that's not fair.
Okay, well, this is the honest part. I've never experienced a threesome or a open side where there was another man involved with any woman I was talking to. I've never knowingly experienced that.
Okay.
But I will say I've gotten to a point in my previous relationship where I felt like we were so comfortable and locked in that the sexual aspect was important to us, but it wasn't the most important thing. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt that it would have been fair if I'm allowed to do my thing, that if she did her thing a little bit, I wouldn't have tripped that much on it. Now the ratio would have had to be like 5 to 1.
Yeah. But how would
I get 5 fucks to her 1? Some gotta balance this out.
Yeah.
But we gonna have to talk about but go ahead, my bad.
Keep going.
Nah, but it's mainly because Cam, I mean, this is to your, I just do some freaky shit. So like this stuff, the other man stuff is, I'm not gonna say it's entry level freaky shit, but it's not like, if you in the freaky community, it's not that far fetched. If you're actually in the freaky community.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
That's facts.
Yeah.
But look, bro, do you feel like I'm judging you?
Nah, but people, that's what, I just wanted to tell people in the comments, because I know people gonna see this, that when people do freaky shit, like couples do freaky shit, this part is not even on the top level of freaky shit.
I think what's important to have this conversation, and while we're having, what was so intriguing about having this conversation with you was being that I think we need to normalize first having the comfort level to be transparent.
Yeah.
Like before the act of.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's not a lot of people, oh my God, I married my best friend, or I'm with my best friend. It's like, no, do you really know her type?
Yeah.
Do you really know his type? Do you really know when he's triggered? Do you really know when she's venturing off? Like when she's wandering, wandering, you know what I mean? Like all these different things, like you give the title of best friend, but it's not backed by merit or action, because y'all aren't best friends, y'all are just roommates.
Yeah.
And those conversations need to happen.
But is that, now go back to my side, is that the reason I agree with somewhat of my openness to it. Now again, I ain't never did it. My openness to it was at the tail end of my last relationship, I'm like, listen, we are probably better partners than we are romantic partners. We are probably better friends. You know what I'm saying? I had that realization. And I ain't gonna lie, I was open to, because you gotta think, you got business tied in. When you build the foundation on so many different pillars, then I was open to the idea of, being open. You get what I'm saying? So when you talk about, am I poly? It's not that I'm poly in the sense of I don't know, let me not get the definitions, where I want multiple relationships, but I can entertain an open relationship. I'll say that. And I like it because if that person is honest in monogamy, I feel like they would be honest in openness. So as long as we honest with each other, we transparent with each other, I get to fuck around and do what I need to do or what I want to do. You do what you want to do discreetly within our rules or whatever. But we otherwise good partners. We fit our lives together. We can work in business. We can parent cool. I ain't really tripping on that, because here's the thing. People be doing it anyway.
Yeah, they do.
They do it anyway. And that's not the reason I would do it.
That's the deceit.
But people will judge a person that says, okay, I'm open to openness, thinking that your relationship is closed. And it ain't. You just don't know about it.
For sure.
So,
is that the reason why you're no longer Jehovah's Witness?
Nah. The reason I'm no longer Jehovah's Witness is because, and it's gonna sound bad saying it, but I'm gonna say it. It's because I like the me I am now. And honestly, if me living in my truth is the reason why I don't go to heaven and I go to hell, then all right. I'm just bold. It just is.
Yeah. But that's
it's just I'm not a person. I don't believe in a fiery hell. I believe if you die, you just die. But I feel like there's so many people that's living in hell right now because they're not living their truth. And I'm not saying your truth includes hurting people. If your truth doesn't include hurting people, but it rather includes making you happy in the moment, then live that. In order to go back and be a Jehovah's Witness, I had to be a different person. And I don't want to be a person that I don't love. I look at the biggest times that I struggled in life, and it was because I was in turmoil about my identity as a person. And it's not, let me be clear with you, being a Jehovah's Witness saved my life. That is something I'd never change. It shaped my life, and those core values stay with me. But I'm an individual person, and me being an individual person fitting into a space where, you know, my individualism doesn't fit is not what I'm prepared to do now. Now, that's not to say in 10 years it might not be different, and in 20 years.
You're speaking of who you are right now today.
But there are so many people, and this is my pet peeve, and I'm not saying Jehovah's Witnesses are doing this, but there are so many people that it's not that I don't like church. It's the people. It's the judgment. That's what church hurt is real for people, man. It's like, you know, I love God and I love the word. But Bertha and this person and that person. And so I'm at a point where, you know, there's probably some, going through what I've had to go through for the last couple months, there's probably some internal work that I have to do there because, to be honest with you, Cam, I got disfellowshipped and I've been running ever since. I've been distracting myself with work. I've been going from this project to this project to this project to this project that I never sat still long enough for that trauma to catch back up to me and realize that, hey, in my adult life, maybe this is why I am detached from certain situations. Maybe this is why I am callous. Maybe this is why, even in a 7-year relationship or a 4-year, however you want to define it, it's only so deep I was willing to go with her. And maybe it had nothing to do with her not being an awesome person, but me being scared of abandonment. Me being scared that, like, yo, it ain't that I fear that I'm gonna leave a person. I know if I fuck with you, I fuck with you, and I ain't gonna leave you. I just don't think when you say you fuck with me and you ain't gonna leave me, I don't know if I believe you. And a lot of people have, I don't know what the real term with it, but I feel like it's a reverse fear of commitment. It's not that I don't care about commitment, but I've had not many people in their life can understand how a disfellowshipping would feel if all your family are like in this portion, and then you're removed from it, and so overnight you're alone. You get what I'm saying? It's tough. So long story short, like if I did ever go back to organized religion, it would probably be that. I do believe mostly that what they're talking about is the truth. And I believe that me being disfellowship was protecting the congregation. Because Cam, I ain't gonna lie, I was having sex with a lot of people inside the congregation.
You said it. It's the truth to set you free.
And so responsible organization is saying, hey, listen, we just gotta sit you out for a while. Had I had a different attitude, had I had humbled myself to that, had I had changed my behaviors, they would welcome me back in open arms. So I'm not sitting here telling you that I feel like they did anything wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm saying who I become now, I just love who I am now, and I don't want to jeopardize that.
Do you think your belief system dictates your relationship decisions?
No. No. No.
Like, let's say, for instance, you are dating and you find somebody worth pursuing, constant pursuing. And she says, I'm atheist. She says, I'm Muslim. She says, I'm Catholic. She says, I'm Hindu. She says,
okay, I get what you're saying. So I haven't been to a church, like ever, like an actual church outside of the Kingdom Hall. So that would be different. Like it would have to be somebody that understands that we just have two different religious values.
But does that have a cap to it? Meaning like the head could be fire. That everything could be fire. And then when you're like, yo, like, what are we? Even for every man thinks about it before a female presents it. It's like, yo, what is this? And then you started to say like, yo, if we were to have children, what will they believe in? You see what I'm saying?
I agree. That would be difficult. The reason why is, Cam, I'm not a Christmas treeer. You know what I mean?
What does that mean?
Like I don't put up Christmas trees.
Okay.
I don't do Christmas. I really don't do a lot of the holidays. And it's a core belief of, I think it was instilled in me when I was a Jehovah's Witness, but a lot of like the holiday stuff, I don't really get into. And so I can see that potentially being a thing, right? Even if you're not ultimate, really like super religious, you've grown up celebrating Christmas. But I look at it differently. I'm like, well, my religious views, I don't think this symbolism is what I want to introduce during this time. And I can see that being a thing. But I'm gonna tell you this, It's so inconsequential to me. Like I don't think that I would be a stickler for stuff like that.
Yeah. So what do you do during the holidays?
Be mad,
Really?
cause shit ain't open, and I don't cook. Now I gotta go to Speedway to get food.
Speedway?
During Christmas, the restaurants are not open.
You got to go to a gas station?
Yes, and get gas station pizza. Maybe not in Atlanta, but if in Dayton, Ohio, on Christmas, nothing is open, and I never remember, cause it's just like another day for me. So I wake up and it's Tuesday, and I'm like, let me DoorDash, and it's just like Chinese food. Sucks.
But even in Atlanta, nothing's open.
Yeah, so I gotta prep better. But when I was in a relationship, we would like cater. She would get catering and come.
How was that though? Like,
What?
was she?
She celebrated Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff.
But okay, that's the curiosity in me.
I didn't go.
Yeah, okay.
And that's probably why we broke up. She felt like I wasn't as family oriented.
Yeah.
And that's why this abandonment thing really shows up in previous relationships, because she's like, man, when I have gatherings with my family and I invite you, you don't come. And I'm like, well, it's around the holidays. I don't celebrate holidays. But then it's like, okay, well, when this person has a birthday, then you don't. And I'm like, well, I don't celebrate birthdays.
Wow.
And then it's like, and then because I've not had outside of my pops, right? My pops is in my life, but I haven't had a core family. So the importance of showing up for a graduation, I don't know my adult life.
So even for like
A family reunion, I
what
don't
do
know.
you celebrate?
Wins and losses, but wins.
So as you're going, do you think that that's traumatic in this days?
Fuck yes.
You know what I'm saying?
But again, yes and no, right?
Okay.
Yes, because there are moments in my life where, you know, I probably missed out on some of the good times, but then also on the sidebar is I see a lot of people getting in arguments about not going to somebody's birthday.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people, you know, families arguing about falling out all the time because of this little issue and that issue, and I'd be like, I can't relate. So there are some parts of my life, or even people hitting you up about money. Never happens.
But
Yeah.
you have siblings, no?
Yes,
What is that relationship like?
doesn't exist that much. But also, Cam, I'm antisocial.
You and me both.
Yeah, Cam, I go and I do my job and I go home. So part of that is on me as well. So it's not like people don't just talk to me.
Now, is it safe to say you just haven't met a person that you were willing to consider?
Doing holidays for?
No, just being in the moment. Like let's remove holidays. Let's remove celebrations. What if somebody said, "Hey, I want you to you play spades"?
No, I do. Okay, let me illustrate this. So over the let's just take from 2023 to now. I did a fall tour, spring of 2023. I ended up doing 20 shows. Now these are not shows that I just show up to. These are shows that I got to produce,
All in
promote.
the spring.
all in the spring. I got to perform it, I got to promote it, I got to organize it, I got to pay for it, the whole nine,
Yeah.
right? Then turn around in that fall in 23, I did 40. Then you go to the spring of 24, I did like 35. And then we go to the fall of 24, I did like 15. So my life for 2 years was consumed by work.
Okay.
Right? And so that's why I said when we talk about my relationship, I think that's where it suffered. She would come with me and we'd go all over the country and all over the world working, but she didn't have me. She had the shell of who I was because I was distracted by my work. And so when we talk about a relationship right now, it's not fair for me to enter inside something when I can't be present myself. I was in build mode on this business, so much so that I couldn't show up for her the way I needed to show up. And I reasoned, well, shit, we got a house, good money, we ain't worried about nothing. We can take trips whenever we want to. And you would think somebody would understand, but she didn't consent to that. She met me, I was doing tours and it was 150 people. Nobody except for me in the world thought it was gonna get like it got. But you gotta consent to that type of lifestyle. And if somebody doesn't consent, so my not showing up for her in capacities was not because of my religious beliefs or my antisocialness. It was because I was tapped out. I'm tapped out from doing what we doing, having to be on tour and then deal with the fans and then do this. And so when I come home,
drain.
I just want to just do this. And so it was just a difference there.
So are you scared to connect with people, or is it the fear of losing people?
Nah, I'm cool with it. I just, when people say,
2 questions. But...
Yeah, so no, I'm not afraid of connecting with people.
Okay.
And I'm not afraid of being left. I listen to you and I smile when you say you never gonna leave me. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I have a relative perspective of it. Like, I be feeling like, yo, if you get 7 years out of something, that's something to be okay about. Like, you be happy about that. I feel like most people are monogamous in nature, but not enough to maintain one singular relationship for all of their lives. So if I'm able to connect with you, maybe it is just for 7 years. I think we should celebrate that.
I don't want to give you words of thought, but I say this all the time, especially as a man. A man never knows unconditional love. He just knows conditional love, which means what you provide and what you are is getting the best version of another person because of the conditions that you give them.
Yeah.
It's sad. And no matter how you want to look at it, a lot of our relationships are built off of transactional exchange. It's like, yeah, she saw you with 50 people, 40 people, 150 people. Then all of a sudden, yo, this is pretty dope. It's 700 people. And as it's happening, you're being pumped by the adrenaline of building an empire. She's yearning for Tony. And she's seeing the growth of Tony, which now you're still becoming a shell. You are a shell of yourself by the time the intimacy for your relationship is, that needs to get displayed. But it's like, yo, my desire or my contract never changed, because when I met you, I was building something.
Yeah, I agree. Now that I agree on. I would also say though, I think I fail. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm also happy the relationship didn't work out. So it's not like I'm looking at it like with a yearning of going back. Like, I'm happy for good reasons it didn't work out. But what I will say is, you know, people grow. That's it. I grew into a person that needs a different type of person. She grew into a person that needs a different type of person. When we met at 26, I was 26, she was 24. I'm 36, she's 30, about to be 33, 34, whatever the difference is. We're just different people. Like, and I think that that's okay. Like, I'm not even gonna say, okay, well, I didn't always show up. I'm saying, hey, listen, the shows grew from 150 people to now 9,000 people coming. The problem wasn't the amount of people came. The problem is now you're dealing with 10 to 12 different cast members that all got their own different personalities. They all got their own different problems. Then you're dealing with a crew of 30 people. They all got and then you're dealing with film crew, and then you're dealing with this, and then you're dealing with the venues, and then you're dealing with customers. So it becomes this all-consuming thing. So then now, maybe in a relationship, I become a different person, right? Now when I come home, I don't even take 10 minutes to ask about your day no more. We talking about mine right away. It's little subtle shit that we do as men, especially men that are influential, men that got a lot of going on. We think she's just supposed to be, and not that it's intentional, not that it's malice, but our emotional punching bag. The shit we can't talk about to everybody else because I only trust you. Now I come home and I'm dumping on you. And it's a nightly thing because nightly problems come up. And so I think one of my biggest things from learning from that relationship is being in the space where you can be present. And then also I would separate a little bit more. I would separate and say, okay, maybe I need to call my guy about this problem so that I'm not always dumping, because here's the thing, I've been going all day. You probably just want to cuddle. And now we're talking about business shit. So it's little lessons I learned.
It's the ability to compartmentalize. And compartmentalize can be a good thing, but then sometimes men can check out too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like mentally, like, yo, this is this not what I need in this particular moment. But I'm gonna get off of you. You know what I'm saying? But that's an interesting take. But there's no denying what you created. You know what I'm saying? In tonight's conversation. And that's what kind of drew me to like, yo, who did this? The production you may be a fan of or not be a fan of, but the impact is something that I think it's a culture phenomenon, right? Where people, amongst any and everything, it's the relatability.
Yeah.
Everybody can talk about relationships, whether you homosexual, heterosexual, whether you're asexual.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that you've created a platform that allow people to feel comfortable with speaking about their personal desires in a relationship.
Yeah.
Now, how did, creating this, right? And when I look at some of the things that describes tonight's conversation, is Black Love, Dating, and the Relationship Podcast, right? What's the good in it?
What's the good? Impact. The good is impact. Before we even get to, okay, so we got impact with the watcher.
Right.
This is a platform where people, even if you're not subscribed to our app, you can go to the page and you can get 60 seconds to 90 seconds of whether it's inspiration, whether it's thought, whether it's something you disagree with, but for 60 to 90 seconds of your day, you can check out of whatever problems you got and you can check into this and you can get something that's gonna either make you like, share, or comment. So that's the first thing. The second thing is impact in person, right? The same thing, man, like on a Friday night in Atlanta, if we come into your city, maybe you're not a club person. Maybe you're not a person that want to go to the little such and such concert. But this is something you can go, you can sit down, not only be entertained, like let me tell you something, our shit be rocking. From the time you get there, the DJ getting you pumped, the audience involvement, but you can get there for 2.5 hours and again forget your problems for $60. But then over that, I think about the impact it's had on everybody individually, right? Had on my life, had on my family's life, had on the staff that we have, the cast that we have, being able to change people's lives internally. Yeah. That's one of the things that I think about the impact of this is when everything is said and done with tonight's conversation, I want people to understand that somebody that looked like them did it without no help.
So we always see the good, right? But the bad in it.
The bad? I think our conversations can be messy sometimes. Like, I think that there are certain things that, if I look at like the history of tonight's conversation, certain things that we have platformed, we've outgrew certain topics and gender wars or whatever the case may be. But I think about the growth as a platform and growing to a place where now we don't need clickbait no more. But that was something that, I'll be honest, in the beginning, it was a lot of clickbaity stuff. But now we really care more about the responsibility of the message as well.
I think I want to ask this question in not a why, it's more of a how. Because we're living in a day and age where everybody wants to be heard, but everybody wants their own platform. It's very inspiring to see what you've created, something from scratch into all of a sudden now it's million plus followers and, people the engagement is there, but for the content creators, right? We was having this conversation, offline, and that's one of the things that I don't think you get enough credit for is because you are really a being that studies the craft of content. Yeah. Like you even said it without saying it. It's like, yo, I have to at least be moved by each and every cast member. That's me, right?
Let me give you this. I had maybe for a couple months, somebody else posted our stuff. I had an assistant posting. When I tell you, bro, I clip, caption, and post every bit of content because I know it got to go through my eye first. I got to quality control it. I don't schedule it out because I got to feel it. Like I got to feel in a moment what the internet need to hear right now. And a lot of people be like, bro, you need to get that up. But a lot of people ain't as successful at doing this. Now, it's not that I can't eventually teach somebody, and I'm moving towards that. Yeah. But in that process, like in that building process of saying, I talk about relationships all the time, every single day, and I've done it for 12 years, and I've been on the road. I've done over probably 400 shows at this point. It ain't nobody I can hire right now that's gonna have a better eye at watching this hour-long podcast and seeing what's gonna go viral than I am. Like, I know my customer. I know my audience member. I just know it. And so the advice I would give to content creator, now listen, I'm getting to that space where I don't feel like doing it no more. I ain't gonna lie to you. But my advice to a content creator is to actually understand what your audience is yearning for and wants to hear more of. And I know that's counterproductive because people like, well, just post what you want to post. I agree. And I do that on my Ace Metaphor page. But tonight's conversation, it's a business. It is a business, and the business of podcasting is more than just what you feel like sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel like doing shows. Sometimes I don't feel like posting every day, but I do it. And a lot of people, when you're not treating your brand or your content as a business, as something you got to wake up every day and clip, wake up every day and make a caption, wake up every day and figuring out what are people talking about, and you being a producer, getting in those comments and understanding what they want to hear next, figuring out which cast members they want more of, which cast members they really don't. And then you got to have that hard conversation. Motherfuckers hate that conversation, but it's a business. Remember how we talked about this ain't, and I wish, I'm gonna be clear. I wish you could go back to the days where the pod, no, first of all, this is not this pod. Everybody has always been paid from the get-go. When I told you I brought 40 people to Dayton, Ohio in January, before tonight's conversation ever made $1 on the podcast, I had a card game before. I invested $150,000 of my own money. And at that time, it wasn't like I was, but there are people that can relate to this. When you were first talking, when a lot of successful podcasts started, which is them, a mic, and a road podcaster, and they was just shooting the breeze in their basement. One of the things that I talk about now with tonight's conversation being what it became is now it's more of a business. And now you got to make tough business decisions with people that you fuck with. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's the hard part about this is because now so many other people's livelihoods is on the line. We're not just talking about that person you see on stage. When you talk about watching tonight's conversation, you also looking at the quality of the clips. Yeah. That's because I got a dope video team. And that dope video team got to feed their family. Right. We talk about the audience members, 9,000 people coming. Cam, when I tell you I book an empty ballroom, an empty ass ballroom, and then the same day, I have to set up a whole stage. I have to set up sound because I bring my own sound. I have to set up the video, the chairs. We have to get ticketing. I bring my own ticketing system. The whole thing happens in one day, and we break down in one day. All those people, they got to feed their families too. So when you get into this business part of it, the one thing I wish, and I know I can't right now because we already hear the one thing I wish is, sometimes you can go back to where it was just you and the mic. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get to the business stuff, man, now it's a little bit tricky. You know what I'm saying? I always say how do I put this? Nothing makes me feel better than being on that stage. But sometimes the business shit, boy, you know what I mean? Sometimes it can get in the way of your enjoyment on what's happening on that stage.
Creating the content you enjoy still, the business about the content.
Hell yeah. And it's mostly because, I'll tell you this, is mostly because up until this point, I've done it mostly by myself. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, like if the show lost money, it was me that lost money. It wasn't me and my investors. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if a plan fell through, everybody looking at me because they know I did it or I thought about it. Like it's no shared thing. So that's a heavy weight for somebody to wear. Yeah. It's a heavy weight.
So as you're talking, I'm like, I always like to know what people don't really think about, like knowing. How do you prepare for a show? Do you go into like Birmingham, Atlanta, Nashville, Miami, New York, LA with a mentality like, yo, do you have the cast discuss certain things? Like, how does that creation happen?
So typically a day of show for me is I wake up about 9 a.m. and I go do a walkthrough through the venue. Now, prior to that, my setup crew is starting at like 6 a.m. So prior to that, you'll have like whatever already accomplished. I'll walk through with my leads, yada, yada, yada. I get that done about maybe 10, 11. I come back to my hotel. I'll send emails out about the day of show, make sure, double check the venue, make sure the address is right, because the last thing you want to do is have people come to the wrong address. After that, I'll probably do brunch, come back. I come back to the venue about 4 o'clock. Then we're doing the checks, making sure enough VIP seating, just all the stuff, how people gonna enter, talking to the security, walking where the green rooms is. I do that and make sure everything is together, because at the end of the day, if there's a problem, it's gonna be a problem with me. The cast normally shows up around maybe 5:30, and we go right into our VIP pictures. We do VIP, super VIP, we do a session. And then from about 6:20 to about 7:30, it's just dead time. Most people get some food. There's no process of we have to do a meet-in as to what we're talking about, because everything is based off of question and answers from the audience. So they give us questions. So I have a system where my DJ and my VJ, or my DJ and my MC, they're getting questions from the audience. So then about 7:30, I'll go and I look through all the questions, see which ones we're gonna do for the night. By 8 o'clock, I do my 20-minute monologue, and then I introduce the panel, and then we do the show. Then afterwards, I stay a little while, make sure the breakdown is going good, checking with the staff, make sure. So I normally get done probably like 11:30, and that's a full day. And then I do it the next day and the next day and the next day.
How long do you typically book out a city for?
City?
So like if you were to come to Atlanta, right, how many days, how many shows would you?
Do one. So I do a whole day booking. So from 6 a.m. to maybe like midnight. Do a whole day booking. And let's say I use the Georgia War Congress Center. So we look at our event that we did in November. We sold out our first show at 8 o'clock at probably a few weeks before, maybe 3 weeks before, and it was 300 people. So I added a matinee show. And then we started selling that matinee out. So they would come at 3 o'clock. So I always want to give myself enough time, if I needed to add a matinee, that I could based off of ticket sales. And the reason I don't mind doing that, even if that show doesn't fill out, let's say 1,000 people come, still 1,000 people. But then I also get 3 episodes recorded during that. So now in one day, I can get 6 episodes that we can release on the app later or repurpose for viral moments. So it's always a plus. But you need that extra time because, again, you're setting up everything. This is an empty ballroom that we have to make it look like it's a theater. We have to make it look like it's worth somebody spending $70 on tickets. So the sound got to be immaculate, the lighting got to be immaculate, the stage got to be consistent. So you need that time to be able to do that.
So for those who don't necessarily know what tonight's conversation was who Ace Metaphor was the topics going into it is something that I've jotted down, just for purposes of content and context, is personal growth and self-development or self-improvement, relationship as well as communications in a relationship, mental health and wellness, social justice and activism, spirituality, and personal development as a nucleus. What else am I missing?
That's pretty much it. We just talk about really the pulse of the people. Like our topics is dictated by the energy in the room. So the New York energy would be different than Atlanta energy. Atlanta energy is different than Miami's energy, the flavor, the relationship issue. So I would think of it like it's a talk show. It's a traveling talk show where the star of the show is the person that comes to attend, because you dictate what type of show you're going to get. Whatever question that you ask, whatever outrageous moment you want to have on that mic, it brings the life to the show.
For your 400 odd shows, roughly, what show has impacted you the most and what happened?
I did a tour called the Self-Love Summit. The Self-Love Summit at the time, now I'll say this at the time, this was like 2019. I did it was myself, it was Derek Jackson and Stefan Speaks. And I remember reaching out to them at the time that they were the 2 biggest relationship influencers that I knew about at the time, right? And I had did 3 previous tours by myself. And I would do really, really good, but I learned how to book venues, I learned how to promote, I learned how to do everything you needed to do. Right. And I remember reaching out to them and I'm like, hey, we should do a collaboration tour. And they agreed to do it. And so the show that I would say changed my life was we did a New York show. I had a venue book that I would use for my personal tours. It said about 400 people or whatever, 400 or 500 people. And we ended up selling that venue out. And I had to move to a different venue because we needed 1,000 people, because that's how much people want to come to the show. And this might have been the most irresponsible thing I've ever did at the time. I remember when we sold that show out, and after we got done, I got my little check from the show, my little split. And then I asked them, y'all want to do a whole tour? They was like, yeah. And that same day I went and quit my job. And so I've been doing this ever since. So
why did you say it's irresponsible of you?
Because maybe I should have waited a little bit longer. Maybe I should have seen how it was gonna go, but I took the risk. I was like, I had one show. I don't know what the split was. It was 1,000 people, so it couldn't have been that big. I mean, I don't know, comparatively speaking to now. But like, so I remember taking that money and I'm like, listen, if I'm responsible with this money I made from this show, that's 6 months of life bills, right? This is bill money for 6 months. I'm gonna go all in on this. And then that's where I learned how, collabing with people on tours, cross-promoting with audiences, getting talent to where people, when they're spending their $60, $70, they feel like it's a value because I get to see this influencer and this one. I love Ace, but I also love this person and that person and that person. And I remember saying to myself, like, that's what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to be the person where I love Ace, but I love this person too. And so those shows gave me the confidence to really go in all full time with this.
But I don't think that that's irresponsible. I just think that what you shared that you did, more people should do. Like, burn the boats.
No, I agree. I'm saying we have the result though. At the time, when I was explaining what I was gonna do to other people, we didn't have a result.
Oh, I got you.
So now responsible people in my life is like, well, don't quit your job. Why would you do both or do this or do that? Or you gotta have a backup plan, keep your license active. Everything that people say.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
in my head, I'm like, nah, I'm all in on this. I'm all in. And I've been all in ever since.
Now, what I know with research is what happened to tonight's conversation. Like, what was the turmoil that inevitably broke what we've learned is an impactful show? What has been the downfall?
Nothing's been the downfall.
Is it still active?
Yeah, nothing's been a downfall, man. Long story short, certain we didn't offer contracts to a said person, a contract. That was it. A person wasn't offered a contract for the next tour. That's it. That's it. Another person wanted to leave and do other things. I don't sign people to 360 deals. I don't sign people to 3-4 year deals. I sign people job to job or tour to tour.
You're a contractor.
Yeah, that's it. And so after the tour is over, you either renegotiate and come to terms or you don't. And then you just move forward. But I know it became a thing on the internet, because, obviously some people will take to the internet to solve their problems instead of, you or mediation or lawyers or whatever the case may be. But now we still rocking. We about to shoot this upcoming weekend and I got most of the cast members returning. We got new people. The idea for tonight's conversation has never been to keep the same conversation. It's always to be sprinkling in new emerging voices to join old favorites that come back.
Right.
That's always been what it is, and it's continuing the trend we've always had.
Right.
For example, people love Kitty Rose on our podcast. Kitty Rose came on in the second season. People love Trill AC. He came on the second season. People love Dimitri Wiley now. He came on season 4. People love Dr. Cheyenne Bryan. She came on season 4. So in order to keep the conversation evolving and new, there has to be room to bring new emerging voices in.
For sure. And I want to be obedient to not messing this up, but this is a discovery that we found in preparation of this. There's been some controversy with former co-host Keita Rose. She accused you of psychological abuse, wage theft, and creating a toxic environment. Like, I owe a service to making sure that we all talk about not just the good, the bad, but also clearing up what some narratives may be. And what do you say in regards to that?
What I say is I don't really want to give her more life. She spent 60 odd days defaming me online. It's a 20-part series. She did 3 or 4 different interviews. She just dropped another interview last week. Like, honestly, I don't want to give her what she wants is ability to clip this moment between us and make another response video on it. But what I can tell you is she's always been paid. She's never not been paid. I do not owe her money, and I stand behind that. I've never psychologically abused her. I never called her out her name. I've never weight shamed her. I'm as curious as most people right now to try to figure out what is the issue, but that's why there's legal proceedings that's in the works right now to handle that. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to join the mud and join the mess. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I don't want to do that. Now, specifically, if you want to talk about the financial side, again, I've said this multiple times. She can tell people how much she made last year. She can tell people. I stand behind the rates that I paid my cast members. I stand behind it. So I don't even know why that became a thing on the internet.
But this is what I do want to know, or must say, like, would you know if you were psychologically abusing a person? Being in, let's say, our world.
She didn't say that. Now, the reason I know is because obviously I'm going through,
You're watching it.
No, but also because we're engaged in legally. Her claims is of financial abuse. That is her claim. Her claim is financial abuse. A lot of people don't really know exactly what she's, but that's her claim. Her claim is I financially abused her.
And just moving on, just understanding, like, you've made it abundantly clear what the sole purpose of tonight's conversation is. And that's to, in essence, in layman's terms, to stir the pot with current conversations, not just the same thing. Do you have a team that says, hey, look at this, or everything is solely with you to find the next? And
I have a team that does some scouting, but man, I pick, and we don't. So again, I want to say this. Keita Rose wasn't invited back. Period. The issues that I'm not gonna speculate what her motives is or whatever, because I don't want to do what I feel she's doing right now is be irresponsible. Like, I don't want to be irresponsible. She wasn't invited back. That's just the bottom line. Trip Fontaine made a choice to bet on himself, in which I love that, right? Like, a person can come to tonight's conversation and build their brand so strong here that they can go and do their own thing. That's the point of doing this. Yeah. I want people to see that. I want people to see that you can come here and maybe not be known as a relationship influencer, maybe not even have a lot of followers, but you put in work here, you can go ahead and do your own thing. This is not a systemic thing. We've had over 100 different contractors, 100 different people that's been on 6 or 7 or 8 different episodes, that's been on multiple seasons, that pop in and pop out on tour. It's just when the noise gets so loud, then people think that everybody's quitting. But this is just, you've been part of a sports team before. After the season, certain contracts are either renewed or not renewed. Right. There's no beef from my side besides.
It's just business.
It's just business. So so now what I'm doing now is I understand that, the noise had to die down, but we shooting season 6. We're going back on tour, and a lot of the people's favorites are still going to be there. Right. But in terms of, I just want to stick to landing, on the terms of the financial abuse, I've never stole from her. I don't owe her money. She was always paid according to her contracts. I don't know what all those other things are, but if there is a grievance, there were proper channels to handle those grievances. And I would stand by saying I don't think the channel that was chosen was professional in nature.
Say less. My last question in regards to this: do you think is this reconcilable? Like
reconcilable?
Yes. With her, like, could you bring her back to, given the circumstances? Say less. So right.
No, but here's the thing. Because I don't want to leave off of that.
Right.
Yo, listen. I got Yo, she's an immense talent. That's why I was able to rock with her for 4 years. She's an immense talent, like, period. And from a talent perspective, and I'm able to, obviously I've been able to separate business and personal feelings towards like, I don't have to like you to work with you.
Right.
So I don't want to make it seem like, you know, I have like ill will as to her person. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
but as far as like, you know, I have a responsibility, you know, you know, to, it wasn't just me that got smoke in this situation. It was a lot of other people that got smoke here. And I think that I would be open to, obviously, mediation. I'd be open to figuring out, you know, and obviously we probably gonna have that.
Yeah.
But we would have to handle and get past this. So I'm never closed off, man. And honestly, I don't read into all this stuff that much. But there are lines that, you know, obviously would have to be addressed before anything like that would happen.
I could dig it.
Yeah.
One of the main things that, you know, oftentimes can get overlooked is you are an author, right? And you've published multiple books. One of those books, The Future Wife Handbook, Ace of Hearts, The Poetic Diary of Ace Metaphor, The Breakup Book, How to Avoid, Leave, and Recover. Before you give up on love, read this. With Ace Metaphor, like, as you are going into this phase of publishing, writing, you know, your art in book form, where do you go? Like, how do you know when it's time to write a book?
Man, when I feel inspired, like, honestly, I haven't gotten my writing bag in a minute, and it's because I've been more on my producing bag.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think I done got out of that phase in my life, like that pen. I hope it come back though. Like, the pen happened when it was quiet. Like, when my life was a little bit more quiet. Right now it's just a little chaotic for me to, it's a little noisy. And excuse me, it's noisy in a good way though, right? It's noisy because, you know, niggas working. Like, and it's what I've always, let me tell you this. We always ask with the blessing, but we never ask what the blessing come with. Like, my life right now, man, I don't know if you seen Kyrie the other day when he got hurt. And I love Kyrie, man. That's one of my favorite players from a long time. And when he had tore his ACL, before he figured out he tore his ACL, he had failed, he got fouled or whatever. And I seen him, I was watching that game at the crib, and I seen him wincing in pain, rolling, right? And his boys got him and helped him to the bench. And then he had 2 free throws though, because he got fouled. And he walked to the line, he dribbled a little bit, and I think he mouthed the words, "Thank you, God." And it got me super emotional because sometimes we don't understand that even though we're being blessed, that doesn't mean that sometimes something won't touch us a little bit, that sometimes it won't be a stumble, that sometimes it won't be an injury, that sometimes you might not have, it might be a little ugly. But in that season, do you have the wherewithal to still thank God for where he's brought your life? And in that moment, for him to have that wherewithal to say that, knowing he felt his knee, he probably know what that means. But before he shot his free throws, that's what he did. And then he made both of them. And so what I think about this season in my life is, I'm thinking about how blessed I am to be in this position, to be talking to you. Now I know, it's a lot of some noise here and there.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm talking to you right now, being able to also live out my dream. Remember how I talked about when I was 6, 7, 8 years old? I'm doing exactly and so what I've been remembering this season is just to thank God for what you have, not cursing for what you don't. And oftentimes people would do that. They'll let those distractions take them away from the bigger picture. So when they talk about my life being a little noisy now, it's because I asked for it. I asked for
indirectly and directly.
Yeah, like I literally asked, yo, I want to tour the country. I want a show that's big enough to do it. What I didn't know, there was fine print. But it's always gonna be fine print. But am I gonna allow the fine print to distract me from how far and how much I've been blessed in this situation? And I refuse to allow that to happen, so.
Man, it's so important, and that was beautifully said, because oftentimes in our life, we think we're above the devil's work.
Yeah.
And we're not. And even the bigger we get is still a bigger target. You see what I'm saying? Like, and we could go on and on about it, but it's like, yo, just because you're having success, that doesn't mean the devil ain't working. The God working. The God that I serve work twice as hard than the devil, but that ain't to say that the devil ain't working too.
But Cam, people shoot up, not down. People shoot up, not down. Like, some of the stuff, not real controversy, but some of the, when you went viral a couple times, it's only because you Cam Newton. If I had said, or if random Joe Smo had said, hey, I do this, X, Y, and Z, would anybody have paid attention to? No. Like, oftentimes part of, becoming successful is realizing that, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a target or whatever. I'm not saying that, but there is a reason why problems are following you or coming to you a little bit more than this other person. It's because sometimes light attracts moths and flies, and it's part of it. It's part of it, and so that's why I'm like in this, bro. Let me say this without getting too much in the mess of the conversation. I had said to myself, yo, it's too many people depending on me getting back focused. It's too many. Every day I allow something to distract me from being as sharp as I can, as focused as I can be. That's another day away from the people that depend on this job to feed their family. That's another day they gotta wait. At some point, first I had to tend to my mental health, which I did. But then I'm like, I gotta shift focus to what's next, what's coming on. Like, I wish I had this super company, now I'm gonna build it, but super company that can run, I can leave for 30 days and it can run by itself. I'm just not at that level. And so like I had to just really sit with myself and say, what win do I wanna have? Do I wanna win an internet beef? Or do my win needs to be making sure that people that depend on this company can still work? And I want that win. That's the win I want. I don't wanna win a back and forth on the internet. Like, as much as the audience might want that, that's not what the fuck I want. I'm not rich enough to care about that. Like, I'm not that rich where I can give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck. Let me go back and forth. I'm not 50 Cent. Like, we all need to get back to work and we all need to be sharp. And there's so many days that I've made a mistake with my customers, or I made a mistake and not dropped the episode on the app, or I haven't responded to an email that needed to be responded to because mentally I was checked out. And it's like, I got to check back in because I owe it to people. And I owe it to myself to keep that childhood dream alive and not get distracted with chasing the wind that don't ultimately matter. Yeah. Like, I love people on the internet, man, they support me. I hope you continue to support me. However, those people that's on the fence right now, they'll come back around, but they're gonna come back around when the truth is out the proper way. But they're gonna come back around because I'm giving them what they want, which is the fire ass content. And like we talked about, they wanna escape from their problems when they come here. They don't wanna be introduced to them, somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's a snapshot on that one.
I like that. I mean, man, if you've been watching this show up until this point and you haven't understood that I'm not just talking to a regular guy, I'm talking to an entrepreneur that has been, a creator of so many different avenues of business. One of the things that I want to talk to you about is the card game, because you created a game. How's the sales doing with that? Man,
let me tell you this. In 2020, summer 2020, I had came up with the game, a card game idea. And it was inspired because when I would do shows, I would just have merch. And I was like, okay, people would ask me questions. Right. Like, my whole show was it's always been question and answer. And I remember thinking to myself, I had this talking point, like, we're not asking the right questions on these dates. We concerned about laughing, crab legs, going to the movies, but nobody's actually having conversations, right? And so I created this nice conversation card games. This was in the summer of 2020. And let me tell you something. Yeah, COVID. I had ordered 5,000 card games. And I thought that that was gonna be like a lifetime supply of card games. I promise you I did. I thought that was gonna last me forever. And when I tell you in the first weekend I sold out of the 5,000 card games, and between 2020 and the day we shot Tonight's Conversation podcast, because the Tonight's Conversation podcast is named after the card game. In between 2020, summer 2020 and January of 2022, I sold over 500,000 card games. And that is what helped fund the podcast and the tours. And as you know, like if you do live shows and stuff, immediately it ain't profitable.
Yeah.
But like being able to have that blessing of being able to not only give people something to do during COVID, because now it's not just one card game. We had the date night edition, but now we got After Dark, we got sex play, we got foreplay, we got this play, we got relationship debates, I got like over 15 different card games. And the fact that it shifted the culture the way it does. Like whenever I like slow down a little bit, I think that's what I'm going to be somewhat most proud of, is that right now there's probably 500,000 people, 500,000 homes, that if you go and you look at a card table, it got a Tonight's Conversation card game. And let me tell you something, Cam, no funding, no distribution, no Walmart, no Target. Everything, and I'm not saying this as a flex because I don't even recommend people doing it, but everything I've ever done has been what my uncles taught me, because they used to sell drugs back in the day. You get this money, you double it, you flip it, you keep flipping it. Everything I've ever done in business have been taking whatever profits from what I made and automatically reinvested and reinvested and reinvested and reinvested. As much as there was a comment, because I saw Joe Budden talk about it. I love Joe Budden. I love that show. But he was talking about, I guess one of the people was like, well, why didn't they get sponsorships? What the fuck I'm gonna wait for that for? Like, I want sponsorships as much as everybody. Like I do. I wish somebody would come and say, hey, put my logo on your flyer, here's $1 million. I wish somebody would have did that. I would never say no to that. But I'm not gonna wait for them. I'm not gonna wait for somebody to pay for this in order to live my dream. No. I'm gonna start doing it myself. And then if you come around and somebody come and they got a fair deal and they want to sponsor us, they want to put us here because we made so much noise, fine. But I was not gonna wait for somebody else to pay for my dreams. And so the card game is one of those things that was able to spark me actually funding our dreams.
Now, with those card games, what is the most controversial card in the deck that you think?
Man, I done made so many questions. Golly. I got a deck called Relationship Debates, so it's scenario based. And man, that's crazy. I wouldn't even be able to tell you that. Is it cool if I look it up real quick?
Please.
Okay. And my bad, Cam. You know I'm talkative. I talk for a living.
I see.
I know, right?
Me too. As we're 2.5 hours in.
I talk for a living, man.
I love it. I told you prior to the show, bro, I wanted to have a candid conversation, and here we are.
So like a woman is caught watching an old sex tape of her and her ex and thinks it's okay because it's just like watching porn. Is she completely out of bounds? Explain. So basically, is watching the old sex tape cheating? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I don't know. It might be cheating. Is it cheating? We don't know.
But
Anyway.
you catch her too, like.
Yeah, you caught her, so you didn't know she had it. And so yeah, it's her and her ex getting down. But but you watch porn, this is just porn. It's just porn I'm in. Like, are you required to delete old sex tapes when you get in a new relationship? Let me tell you why I think you shouldn't. Because what if the relationship don't work out? Okay? Now I deleted my whole archive. Now here, this is what we can do. We can put it on this said phone and we can lock it up. And if we never break up, it's gonna stay in the safety deposit box. Mm-hmm. But once we break up, I want access to my archives. That's some of my best work.
Wow.
You know what I
mean? The question, let's change the commodity. Can you wear old shoes?
Yeah. I know, right? So during these, it's mixed up, but the first ones are sexual questions. During your first sexual encounter, you give them oral sex until completion. when it's, hold on, you give, when it's their turn, they say they don't do that. Would this bother you? Why or why not?
That's childish to me. Like, we grown. But by the time I would have been able to figure that out before I even put myself in that situation. See, that's the vet in me. Yeah, but that's the old me too. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like, what are we doing? Like, come on. Like, it's like an athlete and you only shoot jumpers. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, you gotta have a, you know what I'm saying, post game. You gotta dribble the ball up court. It's just all about being an athlete. You just can't just spot up and shoot.
All right, one more quick one. These are just random ones that I'm seeing. A woman leaves her husband for her side dude. The side dude tells her to go back to her husband because he doesn't want to be with a cheater. What should she do next?
Am I talking to my daughter or am I talking to
just somebody? What you?
Man, untoxic answer. Mm-hmm. Just be happy.
Yeah.
I think we don't prioritize happy.
Yeah.
But like that right there, is it hard for you to compartmentalize or balance the work versus the human? Like, it's, as I'm talking to you, mm-hmm. there's no denying your expertise of mm-hmm. you're creative mm-hmm. naturally. But I joked about it, but it's true. It's like, how do you balance Tony and Ace?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you my answer to this. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to the camera. This camera. So I would have been open to reconciling after my previous relationship ended, even though I know another dude was involved afterwards. What I mean is, in that specific situation, let's pretend, I don't want to put nobody's business out, but let's pretend you in a relationship, part of the reason you broke up is because another person started wooing and this, that. Maybe nothing sexually happened, but then you break up partially because this person finds something new and then they start in that situation, I think I had thought about it for a brief couple days because I had said to myself, damn, I wish you would have just been honest with me about it. And I was like, yo, I bet you feel like a weight has been lifted off of your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, you have to do that that realization as a person. You got to be like, well, maybe there's some things that, you know, I probably did too.
That led to like
but
play out a lot.
But the reason I say I wouldn't have done it though, I felt that way for a couple of days. As a bet, I will be honest. The reason I wouldn't do it though is you left me for your side dude. Hell nah. Once you leave, stay gone. I'm that person, like, once you leave and it's for that specific reason, the only reason you coming back is because that shit wasn't popping the way you thought it was popping. And like, at the end of the day, bro, I'm not somebody's second choice. Like, I'm just not somebody's second choice. And honestly, the only reason I think people accept people back like that is because they're afraid of being uncomfortable. They're afraid of refining themselves. Like, I'm gonna be honest, bro, I've been out of my relationship, it's going on a year now. Dog, I don't know when I'm gonna be healed to a point where like I feel like I want to get back into a relationship.
Right.
And sometimes the days is lonely as shit. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see why people be so afraid to be single. You go home, ain't nobody bothering you. You know what I mean? It's quiet. But maybe as I told you, watch the game. Nobody telling you to take the trash out. Shit. It's crazy. So right now it's just like, I think certain people may choose to take somebody back after that situation. And I thought about it, but I wouldn't.
But it's a little contradicting though. Mm-hmm. But you did say you could do poly though.
Yeah. So my point was, no, I said I'm open. My point was, if we had discussed it, I would have been like, well, maybe let's just be partners. Let's open a relationship. I feel like we stronger as partners. We stronger as this. I want to have a family with you, this, that, and other. But also, I think that person has to have that same mentality.
Same.
Like, I think if that person has that mentality of only doing it because they actually like that person a lot, it's never gonna work.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a matter of time before she or he goes over there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and I say this with no infractions to my sexuality. Mm-hmm. That was a mouthful. Right? I'm came and saw it, conquered. Anything else?
Nah, man, I appreciate it. Like, I appreciate chatting with you. This was it's a bucket list podcast thing. I don't do too many of them. You know what I'm saying?
That.
Yeah, but first of all, I ain't gonna lie, big fan.
Appreciate you.
I think what you did in Carolina and what you represented to black men and seeing you in that position, the year you got that MVP, like, I just want you to know, like, all that, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan because I grew up but I was a Cam Newton fan too.
Man, appreciate that, man.
And
appreciate
the Heisman, like, just so I just wanted you to know, man.
Thank you.
I know you know the effects you got, but, it was in some of my darkest moments, that year you won the Heisman, like in my darkest, that was one of my darkest years, just watching you play. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm in constant pursuit of refining myself, and I can say that still to this day. Man, shout out to my team. Shout out to the people who impact me. And also, I've been trying to operate off of gratitude, man. I'm grateful that Tony pulled up on me. Ace also pulled up on me. And as we end things here at Funky Friday, got to make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment. You dig what I'm saying? So, when I say all together, we're going to say one love. When I say all together, we're going to say one love. When I say all together, we're going to say what?
One love.
Okay, here we go. Now, the example. We're going to start with this camera, then go to that camera, then finish with that camera. It's going to be one finger, one pinky, one thumb. And when I say all together, we're going to say what?
One love.
You all right?
Yeah, that's one love, right?
When I say all together, we're going to say one love.
Okay.
So one more example. We're going to start with that camera.
Boom.
Then
Boom.
boom. And then when I say all together, we're going to say
One love.
You look nervous. You all
No, I
right?
got it. I registered. I do this part.
Say less.
Okay.
Here we go. Ace metaphor, you dig? One finger, one pinky, one thumb. All together, one love. You dig, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure, man. Appreciate you, dog.
I appreciate it, man.
Woo!